Top at that shit. We count bills by the pound is.
Dun 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 dun.
The episode that almost never happened.
We are back like Musana. This man missed his flight. I asked him earlier. I was like, I didn't miss my flight. They just didn't let me board.
Yeah, what was that about? I saw the screenshots sent to me by, what's his name?
Yeah,
His passport is
No.
very interesting.
Yeah, no, I had what you call Nkwazi notice. Nkwazi notice is like an Interpol flag.
Quasi here means
Why?
eagle.
Why?
Yeah, it's the same thing, but
Okay.
it's also the name of our presidential airplane.
So what, are you like a high-profile person or a criminal? Why would you why would
Nah,
they flag you down?
I had some court cases, and when I came back to South Africa, I left the country. After the murder of Keenan,
AKA.
yeah, and I just felt like it wasn't safe for me. I had some credible intelligence that it would be very expensive to keep myself safe. So I thought it would be cheaper to just be in the States.
So you went to the US.
Yeah. And then when I came back, that red flag notice came up. And then because it could only be executable within the Randburg West jurisdiction, they had to let me go and go back home. You know what I mean?
Randburg has always been a dodgy neighborhood too.
Randburg West is Bryanston. But yeah.
Oh, now that's fancy.
Nah, it's like where the Randburg police station is, where the Randburg magistrate's court is. Yeah. So I dealt with it. I'd already been processed to the system. I'd already served my 60-day sentence.
Was that because of the KO issue?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, so when you left to go to the States, had you served your sentence or not yet?
No, there was no sentence. There was no court case. So while I was in the States, they had
Is
a
when
court-
that happened.
They had a court case without me while I was in the States. What? Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? And I'll tell you this.
I
We
know.
all watched, well,
With enough money, you can make a judge stamp documents.
but that's similar to what Donovan Gray say happened to him, where a court case happened without him being there. But you know what's crazy, bro? From the outside looking in, because all we had to go by was what we saw on social media, right? And I'm speaking about the whole AKA thing and what we saw on the CCTV and where everybody was positioned. There were lots of questions.
Yeah.
You basically asked what a lot of people were whispering in their houses, in their cars, in bars.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what the issue is about, right?
I'm trying to follow. Go on.
I'll let him say it, since
look,
he's been to jail for it already.
no, yeah, so I've already served my sentence. So it was a setup.
Right.
The whole entire thing was set up. It all smelt funny, All of those guys, I know them. The guys from Dream Team, Sasso, and everything else. When Dream Team started, they had an AKA feature immediately on their first mixtape. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they've always been close to Keenan. So even him doing that gig, he's like, okay, let me do a gig for my homies, get some guaps, pay my team. It's COVID, it's pandemic. Dudes haven't been making money. My thing is that how are you desperate for money when you just submitted your album to be uploaded? You've got a multi-million rand advance that you're getting from dropping that album anyway. That's where your money is coming from. You don't need to be doing little piecemeal gigs. It's unnecessary. Right. So you could have only been doing it to benefit your team. Or maybe your team member's like, oh yeah, you're gonna get your advance, but we haven't been gigging and everything else.
Right,
So
right.
let's do this and then you'll give us the guap. So they basically set him up. And for me, it's like, bro, your homie, the guy that you work with, just got shot in front of you. Are you not traumatized? Are you not, you know what I mean? You're not gonna say anything. It's been 2 years now. None of them niggas have said anything, ever. None of them niggas
About
had
what
said,
they saw.
You know what I mean? None of them niggas had said, that nigga is the nigga that killed him. I saw him with my own eyes. That guy who's lined up there is the real guy that shot.
Because there are people that are arrested, right?
The people that are on trial right now.
So,
It's a court
so
case.
aren't these guys witnesses? Because they were there.
I mean, they're not being called up.
Yeah, but it's your friend that got shot. Why do you have to wait to be called up? Why don't you just offer
You understand
yourself
what I'm
and
saying?
explain that you were there and you saw this?
It's your friend. Humanity. Where's your Ubuntu?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's insane. So, with the whole entire KO thing, it's like your brother, KO's brother is the road manager. KO is the guy that got his brother that job. It's like me getting my brother to be your road manager, and then something unfortunate happens to you. I need to account. My entire family needs to account. They need to, because your family is going to be very suspicious. Why is it that all of a sudden now you're going with so-and-so and now you've been taken out? You know what I mean? I mean, let's say they were taxi business owners, right? Now, this guy owns AKA Taxi Association. KO owns KO Taxi Association. They're all based in the same province. If KO sends his brother to work at AKA Taxi Association and then AKA Taxi Association loses its figurehead, its CEO, it means that KO sent his brother there so that he can take over AKA's roots, right? If we're talking about the taxi business.
All right. Which is a
Now
very
we're talking about
brutal
rap.
business.
Right.
Now we're talking about rap. Yeah. What album is AKA dropping now? Nothing. When last did KO drop an album? 3 weeks ago.
I see why you need security.
Do you know what I mean?
You say that you were meant to go to Durban.
When?
I don't know if you were meant to go to Durban with AKA.
No. I didn't say that. What I said is that, so after the whole entire thing happened, I saw what was going on, so I couldn't trust anyone. So I kept sending people to his house. I sent one of my friends to go there, get some artworks, like big pictures.
Whose house? AKA's.
Keenan's house. I put up a big billboard on Winnie Mandela for 2 weeks. Myself. I put up the AKA billboard. Not Spotify. No, me as an individual, human being, on Winnie Mandela, right outside my house. So when I drive to the garage where I pick
You'll
up
see
my
it.
coffee every single day, I'll see it. His daughter stays with the mother who lives in the complex behind me. So his daughter, when she's in the car with her mother, she'll see that my daddy was loved. You understand? That's how big my daddy is. He's on a billboard on this big main road. The road that people complain about all the traffic all the time.
What was Winnie Mandela? Because it just changed, right? What was it before?
William Nicol.
William Nicol, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's prime real estate. It's not a small billboard. I didn't just put it on the wall in someone's house.
Yeah.
You know what I
Nota,
mean?
before we go any further, just like the way the Hustlers Corner that you at DJ Sbu do is powered by Mzek's Kitchen now. And what's the drink again?
More fire.
More Fire.
Yeah.
This
For
episode,
us, yeah, for the last year,
Yep. For the past 1 year, we've had brothers powering our podcast. And
right behind you there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's got alcohol.
no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Mocktail.
It's a mocktail.
What is a mocktail? now?
Mocktail. Like the opposite of a cocktail. Same ingredients
I
except
don't
the
drink
alcohol.
at all. So now I'm thinking mocktail. Nah, that sounds like something
No.
that's got alcohol. That's why I
Think
asked
of
them
a-
to bring me this thingamajig. Please bring me that mocktail.
know what?
They got a gigantic fridge.
Please, have
filled
them-
with
let them have a
mocktails.
taste of,
Throw me all of
pina
them.
colada.
I'll taste all of them. I'll have a sip of each can.
Depending on how many you can take on your flight, I'll give you some.
You got 60 cans in there. You got 60 cans in there.
So this episode is brought to you by Brothers Mocktails and 4 exciting flavors that they have: Pina Colada, Mojito, Strawberry Lime Crisp, and Cosmo. If you haven't yet tried these, you're missing out on a great time. All of these made to you by Big Tree
Let me try
Beverages
this.
Limited. We call them Brothers Mocktails. Also, this episode brought to you by
Techno Mobile.
Camon 40.
Yep, Camon
One of the
40.
most amazing phones on the market right
We
now.
keep discovering new things.
Yep.
Let me tell you something that I also just discovered. You know how you can have an AI assistant
Yes.
on your phone? So if your phone rings for 30 seconds and you don't want to pick up, it will answer the phone. So you can pretty much...
Sort of like speak.
So you can give a script.
Right.
You can put a script onto your phone.
It's like a
as
smart
to-
answering machine, kind of.
Bingo. Yeah. Your
Dope.
thoughts?
He's not getting paid for this.
I'm getting ideas. No, I'm thinking about that smart AI,
No, I mean your thoughts on the drink.
Oh, yes. You know what I mean? Oh, yes. This is actually very nice. It's a non-alcoholic mocktail pina colada. No, this is dope. This
Awesome.
is dope.
Spread the
This
word,
is
they
dope.
say. We'll give you some to take. Actually, Big Tree Beverages should be opening.
Now you should send a truck down. This is
SA?
you should send us
Yeah,
truck
we
down.
will.
I mean, their offices are in Lusaka.
For as long as it doesn't get robbed and jacked.
You understand? They're on plot P.
No, I don't know why you're doing that right now.
Big Tree Beverages Limited. Shout out.
Special shout out. For those watching this episode, of course, because you love the podcast that much and you're curious to find out who our guest is today. His name is Nota. Is it Baloyi?
It's Nhlamulo Baloyi.
Baloyi is a surname.
Yes. it
Nhlamulo
is.
Baloyi. That's my name.
Samulo is a middle name.
Nhlamulo Baloyi is my name, right?
Right.
Now my initials were NB. So because in class at school, the teachers would always write NB.
NB.
All the other kids
they
called
put
me.
Nota, right.
Yeah,
Nota
right.
bien.
Nota
Because I'm
bien.
NB.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right. Okay, cool.
This guy, have you ever been nervous to speak to anybody? Since we started?
All the time, every day.
Who have you been?
Maybe guests make me nervous.
Give me one.
Yeah, but him is a special case because
So him, up until, because we had like an hour or so outside that we were chatting.
Right,
yeah.
So up until that point, I was like, my palms were sweaty.
because weak arms were heavy.
Let me tell
Mom
you.
spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti.
No, it's vomit on his sweater
Sweater
already.
already.
Mom
Mom
spaghetti.
spaghetti.
He's nervous, but on the surface he looks
Look
calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting when he
Okay.
wrote down the
But he
whole
wrote
crowd.
down-
Grows so loud he
Let me
opens his
talk.
mouth.
Words won't come
won't
out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Talking
Choking
now.
now. Everybody's
Talking
choking
now.
now. Yeah. Anyway,
Clocks
what you
are
say?
not. Time's out. Over. Plow.
Oh,
Snap back to reality.
reality.
Oh, there goes gravity. I don't know.
I'm a 2000 who will not know what the hell we're talking about.
Hey, they've got.
Do you all know what we're talking about?
What 2000s are here, man?
Try this. Try this for the 2000s.
Hey, what 2000s are you talking about now?
Let me try one for
You're
the
going to
2000s.
threaten people at home. They're going to
Go
be
ahead.
I
scared.
want my respect. God damn. Yeah?
Nada.
Oh, no.
No.
Not.
So,
Anyway, I was
yes.
introducing our guest.
Let me, man, this guy does not just shake the table. He flips it. I have seen people, let me tell you, you see this guy here?
Yeah.
He said one controversial thing.
In
Our
Zambia.
sponsor called him and the guy was shaking. He offered his firstborn child as a sacrifice and say, you can take her, I'm sorry. This dude has been sued, he's lost
Locked
money,
up.
he's been locked up. Does he stop?
I've been in Sun City. And then I renamed it. I call it Monsters Inc. now.
Right.
That's Johannesburg Central Prison. It's now called Monsters Inc.
You've been there a couple of times.
No, I've only been there once.
Oh, okay. I just checked.
I've only been, well, I mean, my friend, Kid X used to live there. So, like, we recorded a whole album.
Used to
there.
live where, in prison?
His dad was the head of the prison.
Oh.
He's retired now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the head of many prisons. He was the head of a prison in Kroonstad, head of Boksburg prison, also in Gauteng, head of a prison, I think, somewhere near Cullinan.
Hopefully he wasn't the head of the prison where Tabo escaped from. Besta.
Oh, no, that's a private prison. He was
By G4S.
He worked for government. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's a G4S prison. Yeah.
Man, where to start with this guy?
I was saying, can we first introduce our guest to the people who don't know who he is? This man is an entrepreneur from South Africa, social commentator. He's a millionaire, according to Google.
10 million rand is how much you're worth.
No, they say $600,000. How much is that?
Yeah.
That's about 10 million.
About 10 million,
Yeah.
give or take.
Almost 12, yeah.
Yeah. Social entrepreneur.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. At the current exchange rate, yes.
And I believe you want to add to your profile uncancelable, despite numerous court cases, including a rape charge, which we're not going to delve in right now.
Yeah.
Is
No, you can delve in it. It's dismissed.
Oh, the rape charge is dismissed. Okay,
is
we'll
it
get
an
to
artist manager?
artist manager?
Well, record label owner. I like to put it like that. And
Right.
record
There we
producer,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you an artist manager if you're a record label owner.
That's the thing but people don't know the ins and outs of the music business. So as long as umeneja, they call you a manager.
Manager.
You understand? You're standing with the dog.
I hear you.
And he also refers to himself as Kanye West's offspring. What's that about?
I don't know. Okay, maybe I'll say I'd been inspired by Kanye West and I'm unashamed to say it. But
Are you still?
No, I'm unashamed to say it. Like, what do you mean?
But are you still inspired by him?
I'm unashamed.
Even with the bullshit he's been saying lately?
He can say whatever he wants. He's a grown man.
True.
I'm not his daddy.
No, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Oh, his cousin apparently is. Did you hear the song that he released?
No, you see, I think.
Wait,
yeah.
Nota, let me tell this guy.
Okay,
he released a song
written by Dave Blunts.
but he sang it.
He did, yes.
Where he said, growing up, he used to suck his cousin's pee-pee.
I shouldn't be part of this conversation right now.
Yeah. That's actually the chorus, isn't it?
Look, yeah. No, yeah, well, yeah. I gave my cousin head. I gave my cousin head.
That's the whole chorus.
I'm very disturbed right now.
That's the whole chorus.
I'm very disturbed right now. But anyway, Kanye West's offspring.
Yeah.
You're explaining that.
Yeah, because I was
He
inspired.
made swastika t-shirts.
Yeah.
Kanye West's offspring.
I wouldn't do
Explain
that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make a swastika t-shirt. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary for me, but it's necessary for him to do it. I play my own part in other things. Like, I'm a child of Puff Daddy. That's who I wanted to be as a kid growing up.
Bruh.
It's getting worse by the minute.
It's getting worse by the minute.
Nah, relax,
Anyway,
relax.
explain.
He's about to get off, don't worry. They dropped some of the charges.
Well, it depends what kind of getting off you're talking about.
Well, not freaked off, I won't. I think you'll stay off of those for a while.
Yeah,
so,
anyway.
you know, that's Puff Daddy's offspring is Kanye West. Like literally, Mace picked out Kanye West as the actual, what Puff Daddy wishes he could be. That's what Kanye West is. A producer, rapper, and does everything, a maverick. That's what Puff Daddy pretended to be because he had ghost producers and everything else. Mace discovered Kanye in Chicago, brought him over to New York. That's Mace's son. So Diddy is Kanye's grandfather because Mace is Diddy's son. You know what I mean? So,
And you're Kanye's son.
you understand what I'm saying? So even when this Kanye case, I don't know, you guys know the Sunday Times is like a big paper in South Africa every Sunday. Like, so they had like a cover feature on the lifestyle section. And I read the newspapers with my dad almost every other morning when I go visit my parents, you know, if I'm going to have Sunday lunch or breakfast with them or whatever.
7 colors and whatnot.
You know, my mother is a health freak. It's not really about the colors. It's about the fibers, the nutrients, and yeah.
Your mom doesn't do the 7 colors?
My mom is a Santon woman. She's, you know,
So 7 colors is a Cass.
yeah, 7 colors is a Cassie type vibe. You know what I mean? So I always knew that I'm gonna grow up to be Puff Daddy. And then when I turned 13, right, that's when Kanye starts dropping his own music as a solo artist. And the first I'd heard of him was when I was 11 on Blueprint. That's when I fell in love with, because he produced half the album.
Yep.
It was him and Just Blaze. And it was basically Dame Dash saying, you two go head to head. I want all your best beats. I want all your best beats. We're making the best Jay-Z album ever made, you know, which is Blueprint. So that's where I got the inspiration to, you know, be a record producer and have the confidence to be like, I want to rap. I want to make raps, but I'm scared that if I start producing, niggas will only want me for my beats. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Kanye was able to beat that, you know, stigma of like, nah, you're just a producer or you're a producer rapper.
Initially, that's what they forced on him.
Yes, but he was able to overcome that.
Yeah.
So when he overcame that, I was like, damn, I can still do this production thing and then at a later stage get to rapping and doing all that shit. Because I knew that I would never make it authentically as a rapper in South Africa and be big, even when I was a child, though I was writing music, because I just didn't have the linguistic skills. I'm like practically English speaking. You know what I mean? Yes, I can write and rap in my native Xitsonga. I can write choruses in Xhosa, Zulu, Tswana, Upedi, you name it, I can do that. But to perform it convincingly needs a certain linguistic proficiency that only a master would have. Like, we look at rappers based on how they master the English language. So the best rappers are the best masters of the English language, the Nas, You know what I mean?
Right.
The Rakims, the KRS-Ones, you know what I mean? They know subject matter, they know geopolitics, they know history, but they also know the language and how to manipulate it to make poignant points in an artistic and charismatic fashion so that it becomes catchy, it becomes a catchphrase, you know? I never had that in my own vernacular language, so I would never be able to compete with a Zola. You know what I mean? I could
Zola,
you
man.
understand what I'm saying? I could never be a Zola.
Yeah,
But if South Africans could listen to an English rapping Zola,
Proverb
I
and
could be
them.
that guy. Not
Yeah.
Proverb. No, he wouldn't be an English rapping Zola.
AKA?
He wouldn't be an English rapping Zola. AKA,
I
you
felt
could
like
say,
AK was like on the surface in terms of his lyrics.
AKA, you could compare him to Kabelo Mabalane, Bugalav. There was a point in time where Bugalav was the be-all and end-all. I mean, after Bugalav, it was WHP who was the biggest brand.
Right.
You know what I mean? WHP is the first EMA winner from Africa, first African artist to win a European Music Award. He's one of the brand ambassadors for the most brands. He's done MTN, he's done Shell. He even brought A-Marie to come sing One Thing and also cameo in his music video. He did the Stimorol ads. He did, his own status deodorant line. I mean, if we actually go through the WHP, we've never had a bigger brand than WHP. Not even Mendoza was at that level.
I don't want us to digress, but then do you feel like him, I don't want to say losing it, because fame is one thing where when you get it and you manage to attain it and keep it for a certain while, when it begins to flit and you begin to lose that fame and you begin to lose all those things.
WHP was too big for fame.
But what do you
He
think
was
then
even
led
in
him
this
to his
country a
own
couple
demise?
weeks before he died.
Second?
Did what?
He was even in this country a few weeks before he died, doing a big jazz festival with a big band and everything else. WHP was the problem with artists, right, is that they fall into addiction. There's only 3 ways out of the addiction: jail, institutionalization, and death. And if you cannot quit drugs, you'll quit life. True. If you say that, damn it, I can't quit this drug, let me just kill myself and then I'm no longer addicted to drugs.
So is that what he was addicted to?
That's it.
It wasn't the fame?
No.
I say that because I remember...
on drugs.
Yo, dude, a lot of artists get entrapped in the drug life. Hugh Masekela was on cocaine throughout his entire career, throughout his entire life.
No,
don't worry.
Wait, let me give my disclaimer. I would like to say that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are that Nota and not of Elson and Kalinga. You were saying?
Hugh Masekela had the clap. You didn't read his book? Yeah, he spoke about, there was a point in time he was in Port Elizabeth. This is back, I think, either in the 60s or something, before he moved to America. He moved to America in 68. So he went to Port Elizabeth, like the girls were friendly. They were on a tour. There was a big theater production called the King Kong. There was a boxer called King Kong. And then there was a theater production based on this champion boxer in South Africa at the time during the apartheid era called King Kong. And he was part of that production. And they went on tour all around the country. I think it was an Ethel Fugard or something like that play or something. I don't know who was the actual guy who wrote it, but he was a white guy. And there's even a Fugard, a theater, and all that type of stuff. So they went on tour, and in Port Elizabeth, he had a line of girls waiting outside his hotel room.
Eban.
Yeah. And then come in one at a time, he'd
To
snatch,
sign
and the next one would come
autographs?
out. No. This isn't his book. You haven't read his book?
I haven't read the book.
It's in his book.
Hugh Masekela.
Yes. And
I
that's
don't want
how
to think of Hugh Masekela in
That's
that way, bro.
I'm serious. That's how he caught the clap. He caught an STD like that.
Who wrote this book?
He wrote this book. It's his autobiography. He talks about the drugs and everything else.
Brutal honesty in your autobiography, bro.
You understand what I'm saying? So
I would leave that part out if I was to write a book.
nah, he spoke about it openly, so it's not a revelation or anything of the sort. So what I'm saying is that when you get to a certain level of fame, right? You come up, you go to Hugh Masekela's penthouse apartment. When you get in, the elevator takes you directly into the apartment. It's a party there. You heard Hugh Masekela doesn't like girls with weaves. You're seeing every single weave. It's like Naomi Campbell and all her friends are there. In his apartment. Then there's ministers, politicians, Hollywood stars doing lines of coke. You're a small time whatever. You either get entrapped or not. Once you get entrapped into whatever they do in secret, now you guys, you are closer to one another. You keep secrets together, and that's actually how they induct people into the super secret societies of fame.
Oh, you inducted?
Never. You know me. I will tell on everybody.
But have you ever been invited though?
Nah, they know me.
They know you enough to.
They know you got a
me
big
since
mouth.
I was a
With
kid. Since I was a kid. Like, there was some guy who brought, like, when I was maybe like 18, I think I was 18, I was still in high school. So he brings over, so like, we've got these other girls, and like, they're the hottest girls in the Free State at the time. We did a festival.
There's hot girls in the Free State.
Whew, the Sutu girls? You haven't heard of Sutu girls?
Zulu,
Oh my God.
yes.
Sutu girls?
No.
Nah, Zulu girls ain't. Nah, Zulu girls.
You are never going back to KZN. Durban especially, with this ish.
Don't worry. I've got some protection there. So I'd say Xhosa girls are number one, hottest. Okay, no, actually, maybe colored girls, but some of them have got white bodies, so minus them. So Xhosa girls, number one. My mother and my cousins and everything else, but they're the least faithful. My cousins and everybody else, not my mother. My mother's faithful. My cousins know themselves. They got multiple baby daddies, so it's not my fault. Then second would be Tswana girls. You know what I mean? In the Northwest. Third would be Sutu girls. Fourth is Zulu girls.
Wait, Zulu girls are not in your top 3?
They're in the top 4 of 9.
9.
Yeah.
This is still going. Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't
I'll
say...
put Swana
wouldn't say
first
the
and
Afrikaans-
Zulu second.
No. Xhosa girls? Bro, this is where he caught the clap. He had a line of them. Dog, what are you talking about, dog? But this was in the 50s.
So, yeah.
Back then, So the drugs get into it. I mean, same thing befell Ricky,
Ricky Rick.
Yeah, So that's what happens.
I remember watching...
Funny thing, that thing that I said, there's 3 things get you off drugs. Jail, institutionalization, or death. That was told to me by Ricky.
When?
The day after Keenan's then fiance
Passed away.
died.
Rest in peace.
I was with Keenan at the time, and then Ricky called.
But what was the connection?
To ask me. He called me to ask, how is Keenan? Because he knew I was with Keenan at the time. He was just asking, how is he?
There's a lot of stuff that we've sort of touched on that you never finished explaining, because I remember a story. You had started to explain that you were sending people to Keenan's house to get paintings. Because there was a story that you say that
pictures,
you have pictures, yeah. There's a story, and just correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were meant to go to Durban, and you felt it was a setup, and so you called your wife to cancel the flight.
My then wife, yes. I guess once they're your wife, it will always be on a record, public record, that you're your wife, whether you're divorced or not. So I'll say yeah. So I guess that counts.
Tell me about it.
I can't disassociate myself from her. She got me. So I called her. I was like, yo. So this is after the day after the Ricky call. So the day after the Ricky call, so now I'm scoping everything, I'm watching everything, I'm watching the behavior, and I'm like, yo, I can see. Like, number one, I know Keenan, right? So people think he's the superstar, big super mega. So I know who he's marrying to or he's engaged to. I know the family, I know what money they're into. I mean, right now there's a big controversy about them taking the tender to run the lottery in South Africa from June next year. You know what I mean? It's a big.
I heard about that scandal where the lottery was giving away.
That's the father.
Don't digress.
That's the father.
Whose father?
His fiance's father.
Say word.
You understand what I'm saying? So I know that this nigga's a rapper, and now he's marrying into money to secure himself. And I know how rich families, well, I'm from a wealthy neighborhood, but my family wasn't rich, but I know the rich families that were my neighbors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know how they think. Yeah, we're going to marry this little rapper boy, whatever. He's going to be our little famous mascot. You know, I mean, that's how they saw him. So I saw him setting himself up for that. And then when that incident happened, that's the reason why I got the first flight down to Cape Town. I was there. You know, on the day it happened, I was there. You know what I mean? When he came back from the police station after having his nails and everything checked and everything, he was at the police station. I think he came back to the house he was staying in at around just before 11 p.m. at night. So I stayed up and I waited for him. And he had been taken through the ringer by the police. You know what I mean? Questioning, he'd already been through the whole entire.
'Cause it was suspicious, yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, on the day it happened,
Right.
he went through the whole thing. And, it wasn't a small thing. He was interviewed by 3 captains of the Western Cape Homicide Department, which is the #1 homicide department in South Africa. As you'd know, that the murder capital of South Africa is in the Western Cape. So all their investigative resources for homicides are
Concentrated there.
You understand what I'm saying? So
If only.
so you're not talking to detectives.
Yeah.
The first police person you speak to is Captain so-and-so, high rank. You understand? The next person you speak is Captain, so 3 captains, right? So, I mean, after he'd went through that whole ordeal, he told me everything that happened, who he spoke to and everything else. Cool. In the morning, his lawyer calls, like, yeah, no, the police say, no, they need you to make another statement, whatever. I listened to the phone. When he hangs up the phone, I say, you're not making another statement. What the fuck are you doing? You've already given the cops 3 fucking statements, bro. And you were downing a bottle of Hennessy while doing it. Who the fuck knows what you said there? You gave them 3 statements. They're going to cross-reference each and one of those 3 statements, and you put in a 4th one. You say one wrong thing, you're in prison. You're fighting this trial from trying to get bail. It's a murder charge. If they catch you on that, don't be stupid. Why? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, dog, I'm your friend. Your lawyer is the guy you're paying. He's selling you out. Everyone here, they look like they're selling you out. You're busy talking to a trauma psychologist. She sounds like she's trying to get information out of you. Who set up that trauma psychologist? Oh, no, it was recommended by the father-in-law. What?
Oh,
You know?
Yeah.
All these things. So while all of this is happening, I talk to his mother. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? Are you not seeing what's going on? They want your son dead. This is war. This passive-aggressive shit that they're acting, bringing us a private chef to cook us 5-star meals and all this shit, buying us private planes. This money is inconsequential to them. You don't understand. Her stepmother is the queen regent. She decides who becomes the next Zulu king.
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying? She's the sister of the king
power.
of the Zulus right now.
Yeah. Position of
That's
power.
the mother-in-law. Do you understand the level of... So they're a colored family from the Cape Flats, bro. The father tried to work. He did his IT job. He made it to Joburg. So they're new to Joburg. You understand what I'm saying? They don't know the dynamics of the power families, the oligarchs of South Africa. They don't know how these things work. And they're not black, so they would never know. They'll never be brought in. You know? So... seeing that play out and knowing that, damn, I'm the only guy who can actually tell him the truth and then advise him, he relied on me because he knew that I was the only guy. And immediately, I could already see that everybody else sees that, oh, damn, this nigga's going to help Keenan get out of this situation. We need to find a way to isolate him. You know what I mean? So once that happened, I started now just sending people to Keenan's house, referring people. There was a time where I went to his house and I didn't call him. I was going to surprise him, right? His security guard opens the gate for me. Cool. Knock on the door, no answer. What's going on? The door's locked. Why is the door locked? I go to the security guard, like, why is his door locked? What the hell's going on? He's like, nigga, this nigga was just smoking on the balcony right now. I just saw him. He's still inside there. I don't know what's going on. Why is he playing hide and seek? Anyway, I just came to drop off the stuff. He's like, no, wait for him. Maybe he's busy. I said, yo, I came to drop off the stuff. I dropped off a Kabalo Mabalani book. Right? He calls me like 3 days later. Yeah, no, hey, boy, yeah, you came past the house. No, I got the book. What? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I was like, no, read it. He's like, yeah, no, I've been reading some of it. But the reason I'm calling you is because he called me. Kabelo called him. So I'd spoken to Refilo Ramokase, who's Kabelo's manager, or the manager of TKZ. I said, yo, our boy needs an intervention. You need to send Kabza to him. Kabelo, no, not Kabza the small. Bugalav, you need to send... him to him.
Is he a pastor now, I think, right?
He was a pastor even then. He's been a pastor for a long time. So yeah, our boy needs an intervention. Please send him to him. So he called me to say thank you, whatever. But like at that time, I was like, yo, I can't help you from close by because then something could happen to me. You know what I mean? You are too hot. I know too much to be near you while you are this hot because I know too much. So I can see what they would be planning to do to you. And if they see that you and I are, then, we're both in trouble. So we just kept it like that, at a system from a distance. And like, I felt like, okay, maybe things would get better. A new year had started, his birthday was coming up. He's just got a new album. So I didn't suspect that anything could happen. I didn't even watch his stories on that day. I would have never known. I never knew that he was going to a gig. Had I seen that gig on the day, I would have called him immediately and said, yo, do not. Are you out of your fucking mind? This is a fucking setup. This club has been closed for how long? Why are you taking this gig? How much are they paying you, bro? How much are they paying you, bro? Do you need that money? Do you need what? 60K, 80K? I'll send it to you. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. So, yeah, it eventually happened. And I guess when it eventually happened, you know, I go back to his crib. I see all the cars that are parked outside. I was like, I don't trust any of these motherfuckers since the fiance died. So I know that they're part of this whole entire setup. So I'm like, I'm not going in there because I'm not going to be able to pretend. I'm going to call them all out. I'm going to say, you motherfuckers killed this nigga.
Rewind a little bit. Where were you when you got the news?
I was in bed. I was woken up.
Who called you?
A guy called Xavier. You know, he called me at like 1 a.m. He's like, yo, bro, I haven't seen you on the timeline. What the hell? Don't you know what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been sleeping. I probably slept at 8 p.m. that day. So I was probably going to wake up at around 2 a.m. But he called me at 1, an hour before I wake up. And yeah, he told me what had happened. And yeah, I couldn't sleep for like 3 days after that. And I tried to do the best I can to ensure that the right questions are asked so that people can see it's a setup. And I felt like, you know, my job was done. Whether or not people were saying it's a setup, they could see it's a setup, and they could also see that maybe let's not talk about this because if they could kill this guy, they could kill us.
How do you think the setup happened, according to you?
For me, the way I feel the setup happened is that the family or whoever it is that felt aggrieved, sometimes people act as proxies. I know that so-and-so is a powerful person. If I do this favor for him, he'll pay me back or whatever. He'll help me with something else. So if I remove this issue for him. And for them, the case that they brought in to have the inquest relooked into Anele's death had failed multiple times. And like I'm saying, this thing was carried out by captains, high-ranking police officials at the most esteemed homicide department. The homicide department that found out who killed that girl that went to the post office and then disappeared.
I remember.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uyinene.
Yeah.
Mkhwechan, yes.
Yeah.
You understand?
That was the boyfriend, I think, right?
No,
the
it was the guy at the post office.
Who worked at the post office.
Yeah.
Right. So he said, come back and get your package a bit later on. Oh my God, I remember.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are the guys that are investigating this thing. And they say, yo, we can't find any wrongdoing on this guy's part. So we
so
cleared him.
digress just a second. Nklatla, what's the guy's name? In
Mkwanas.
Mkwanas.
Yeah, but he's in KZN.
That happened in Cape Town.
Yes.
Got you. Carry on.
So the week before Keenan is killed, it gets announced that this case is dropped. Who is Keenan talking to? His friends, his inner circle. He's not posting it. Yo, the case against me has been dropped. The inquest is over. I'm a free man. It's cool. It's over. He's only telling his boys, yo, boys, yeah, hey, we're good. The case is over. The inquest is dropped. Right? Those are the only people who would have a vested interest in making use of such information. How do we make use of such information? Well, if the world finds out that this inquest is over, then if we've got any reason to want to kill him, don't worry, that's not ESCOM. If we've got any reason to want to kill him, our cover would be blown because now, without this case, we can't now say that he was killed because of the family of his fiancée that died. You know what I mean? You'd have to find another reason. So you need to kill him quickly so that no one would know who actually killed him. It would look like he's got many enemies. He's got internal enemies. He's got his in-laws as enemies. You know what I mean? His in-laws are well-resourced. They're well-connected and all those things. They could get away with having him taken out and all that stuff. And then, you know, when you don't know the information, because obviously I don't know the information, that makes me suspicious and skeptical of everyone. I drove SABC there. SABC didn't know where his house was. The SABC news cameras that spoke to Fikile Mbalula outside the house were brought by me. I delivered them there.
Where was Fikile Mbalula there?
He was there to pay his respects, obviously.
Oh, okay. Because he used to be the Minister of Police at some point, right?
And see if the job was completely done. He was the Minister of Police. And It was also
Wait,
the Minister
to
of
see
Sports.
what job was completely done.
Whatever job that needed to be done to devastate his family. You know what I mean? To see how distraught they are.
You make some very strong accusations there.
It's not an accusation. He went to go and see how the job had been. A job was done. A guy was killed. It was an arranged hit. You saw that, right? So a job has been done, and he went to assess the results of the job being done.
A sitting minister.
Whether he was part of the job being done or not, I'm not venturing into that.
How good is your security in South Africa right now? You're home, when you're moving around town.
No, I'm good.
You good?
I was not good at that point in time. That's why
You
I went
said
to
what street in 4 ways again?
Winnie Mandela and
Formerly known as-
and Broad Acres Boulevard. No, Broad Acres Drive. On corner Winnie
No,
Mandela. and
but
Broad
you're
Acres
still
Drive.
not getting into the actual setup of the day. In your opinion, how do you think that went?
Well, in terms of his traveling party, they were part of the setup. That is definite. If you watch the CCTV camera footage, his road manager is the guy in the white T-shirt. There's another guy holding him by a wedgie.
Okay.
All the guys that were standing in front of him, it made like a half circle, guard of honor,
Yeah.
opening him up, staying out of the way of the crossfire. The only person who wasn't trained or who did not know, who did not rehearse, was the guy who was not supposed to be there, and that's Tibbs. That's the guy who got shot. The only person who was not supposed to be there died. Why? Because he didn't rehearse. Everybody else rehearsed, and that's why they're still
But
alive.
why do you think they rehearsed?
Because it was planned.
But
They had to plan it.
is there anything
They knew that
apart
this is
from
the
what
hit going
we
to happen
see?
like this. You can see it's rehearsed. Everyone's got their mark where they need to stand. You need to stand here. The other shooter talks to Cheeks or Don Design. You can see them conversing. They were talking earlier during the day. Earlier when the sun was out. This is now at 8:30 p.m. The sun is now down. The sun sets very early in Durban. You know, it's the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's dark. It's pitch dark. They've been inside the restaurant. They cut their hair at the same salon. Now, another thing is that a very close friend of mine who I went to primary school with, she's an Indian girl, right? Her husband, her children live in an apartment in that same building. They saw everything go down. They saw where the fingerprints were and everything else, who touched what. They saw everything else. They've got their own building CCTV footage. I had already intel from whatever's happening there, who's moving around there, what they're doing from inside. You know what I mean? So I wasn't getting my information from third-party sources or just relying on the CCTV footage. Another thing is that the cops that ensured that footage leaked were not black. They were Indian and colored. And
What's the relevance?
the relevance is that he's a colored hero. He's a colored icon. And for them, it doesn't matter who in the police force is getting paid to execute this crime. For them, it affects them because they need to go home and explain to their children why their icon, their hero, is dead. Why the most prominent person from their community is now dead. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for them, it wasn't something that they were just going to allow. That's why they lead investigators an Indian guy. Colored, mixed colored and Indian. You know what I mean?
So what was in it for the guys that were in his circle that set him up? Money?
Obviously. They don't look broke. They're walking around. They don't look like they need to gig. This is a cash cow. You needed to gig to earn with this guy. All of a sudden, you guys are earning without gigging. How are they surviving? How are they living? It's been 2 years.
We don't know
I'm
what
the
else they
only
had
guy
going
who
on.
can survive for 2 years without working.
Oh, your accounts are frozen.
I mean, I can still survive. You know what I mean? So I know they can't do that. They're not at my level. They're not. I'm 2021, 31st of May. That's the last day I worked.
Did you pay KO or anything?
Pay what?
I don't
I
know.
paid in time. I went to prison. I went to Monsters Inc. with killers, murderers. There's a guy doing 25 years who was sleeping underneath me in the bunk. You know what I mean?
You did how much time?
I did 18 days.
Can I have some horns, please? Let's have some horns. No, that's not time. That's a break.
Have you ever been to Sun City?
Bruh.
Still, bro.
Have you ever been to Sun City?
2 days.
Let me tell you something. 2 hours is enough to get raped and killed in prison. Your first 2 hours, you can get raped and killed. Your first 2 hours.
Nah, but I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna make fun of 18 days because
I will.
Okay, let me tell you why you can make fun of 18 days, right? Tell me. Look at your build.
Okay.
You'd have to fight in prison. I never had to lift a finger.
How so?
My clothes were ironed. Everything ready for me. My place in the shower was booked at 4:30 in the morning. It's my shower. I didn't go in there as a prisoner. I went in there as a boss.
Oh, how?
You understand?
Why?
Because my
Money?
family is from the streets. No. My family is from the streets. Those prison cells have held my uncles in and out. We're from Soweto, dog. We're not from Ermelo, where KO and his family are from. Understand? This is Joburg. This is my city. My grandmother was born in Johannesburg. Do you know how it takes to survive 3 generations through apartheid in Johannesburg? You don't have that. You don't have the skin in the game. I'm a Sowetan. That prison is filled with Sowetans. You understand?
Well, Soweto's got some pretty soft spots too.
So, like I said, someone tried to snatch this bag from me in prison.
This particular one.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the rest of my stay, he was cleaning up after me everywhere I walked. I could just throw something on the floor. He'd have to clean it up, take it into the dustbin. Just because he made the mistake of trying to snatch this from me. That's the thing. I just told you, that's Sun City Prison. Who was the head of the prison? I was inside at that prison, working there. I know the people that work there. I know the wardens. Do you understand? I know their former boss. You know? There was nothing I wasn't looked after there in prison with. But it's a horrific place to be there, even for one day.
Yeah, it is.
It's a horrific place to be there. And also...
What's the one in Pretoria?
Which one? Khosi Mampuru.
Yeah.
No, that's a maximum security.
That too is...
Yeah. But Khosi Mampuru keeps you for 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you get sent to minimum. So it's...
That's the one that you see as
Sun
you're
City is a
driving
medium
into
sea.
Pretoria, right? It's to
That's
your
maximum.
left.
That's maximum. Sun City is a medium.
Yeah.
Yes, and then there's low security prisons like Zonnewater and elsewhere where they get sent on your last 6 months of your sentence. So I had to do a lot. Number one, I wasn't even supposed to go to Sun City. Sun City was overcrowded. I was sent to Sun City because I already had made arrangements within Sun City. I needed to divert myself to Sun City, right? I had a bed already organized for me before I even went there. You need a bed. There's 70 of you in a cell. There's only 22 beds.
And yet you had your own bed,
I had a bed.
own mattress,
I
own
didn't
pillow.
share everything.
I
Own
can't wait
sheets,
to hear from
own
people that
everything.
were in the same prison as you.
Yeah, they're coming out in 10 years.
I need
No.
because you make some interesting claims.
I know, right?
The first
really
one,
big claims.
the first one that'll be out will be out in August. The first one that was in prison.
You want to send us his number?
That
when he
was
has
my
one?
cooker. That was the guy who used to deliver my food to me.
No, he has testimony.
Yeah.
When is he out
he
again?
comes in August.
A cookie,
At the
man.
end of August.
God, please diarize that for us. We
But
need to go to
I mean,
Joburg
I don't know
one day.
whether you want to speak to him because he was there for statutory rape. You see that? Do you really want to talk? The reason why I call Sun City Monsters Inc. is because niggas are monsters. Like I said, the guy who's got me my bed is there for 25 years for murder.
But how bad can it be if it's a
don't
medium security?
They don't sleep.
How
They
bad
don't
can
sleep.
Did you hear
They
my
don't
question?
sleep. What I'm trying to say is this. You are sleeping, right, where there's 20 other men who have murdered people
In a medium security.
in the same cell. And there's no way that if something is happening to you that the guards can get there in time to stop you from being killed.
Are you
By the
hear-
time
are
they
you
get there,
hearing my-
you're dead.
Are you hearing my question, Nota?
Yeah.
The prison that you were in
Yeah.
is medium security.
Yes.
It's not the maximum like the one in Pretoria.
Yes, but
were
the people that are
murderers.
in there come from medium. They
are
serve
they
the
about to
first
be
10
released?
years. They first
Right.
10 years
Okay, cool.
in maximum. So I'm
Then-
talking about niggas that have got multiple murders. There's a guy who's doing 17 life sentences.
What?
Yes.
And that's-
Jonathan Plykes. Dog, let me tell you something about prison. All of us are Googleable. You can Google all of us. You see a prisoner there, what's his name? Sure, you Google him if you find a phone. You're like, damn it.
Jonathan who?
Plykes.
Sounds colored.
I think in Florida,
Plykes?
Lake in the west.
Bly or Bly?
Plykes.
Bly.
Yeah.
PL?
Jonathan Plykes.
PL?
Plaa. I think. Blikies. You know? Check him out then. Johnny. You know what I mean? Like, that guy is there for 17 sentences.
Sheesh.
There's another guy, Gardner. He shot 3 black kids. He said they were monkeys. Right? Served his sentence up until he got paroled out. He went out on parole. They found him with a weapon. You can't be a parolee with a weapon. That's why he's back there. He was like in the bunk, 3 bunks from me.
He called black kids monkeys?
Yeah, he said they were monkeys.
Is that a crime?
He said they thought they were monkeys. He shot them.
Oh, he
And
thought
killed
they were
them.
monkeys.
Yes, 3 black kids. He shot and killed them on his farm. And he said he thought they were monkeys.
White guy?
Yes, white guy, Jewish guy. He was so angry that I was eating kosher food. He called his lawyer to find out why is there a nigger eating kosher food
I'm
in
the
the
Jew
prison.
here.
You understand what I'm saying?
That was
The
funny.
day before I left there, I found him lying on the floor. I said, "You look like the piece of chicken licken I was just eating." And I was
And
just
then-
eating a chicken licken. And it was warmed up in the microwave.
And then you were in the news earlier this year for calling white people inferior.
Yeah.
Well, I was in trouble.
That's
I
the
wasn't
only
in the
thing that you
news.
called them.
I was in trouble.
You're in trouble for that.
Yes, because it could be said that if you take a transcript of my statement, I was comparing white people to animals. And I had to apologize for that.
And you did.
Yes, obviously, I had to.
Why?
To
Because
avoid
I
another
didn't want
18
to
days.
go to court and
No,
all
why
that
did you
type
call
shit.
them that?
I mean...
I know what you're about to say because they are.
No. I wasn't going to say that. I can't say... Look, whether I say it on an international platform, as a South African citizen, they still have the right to sanction me. So I can't say what you just said. I'm just saying, whether they see it on YouTube, he did it in Zambia, yes, but he's a South
said it.
African. Yeah,
You said it.
So
That's him.
yeah, I did say it and I apologize, so I retracted it. So I still retract it. But I'm just saying, they're very friendly with dogs, though. You know what I mean? They're very friendly. You know what I mean? You think that they're best friends. You know?
Can we talk about music for a little bit?
Yeah.
But
let's go
before
back.
we go there,
You want to hear the more prison stories?
no, hold on. He has very interesting views on women. You think they're narcissists and evil.
Look at her.
Sade.
When last did she drop an album?
Wasn't it 90s?
Exactly.
90s?
Exactly. We want another Sade album.
Lauren Hill?
Exactly.
90s.
She'll come whenever she wants to drop on stage and
Oh, and there
everything
she
else. Yes, she's right there.
Yeah.
I see all the icons.
Yeah.
She'll drop whenever she... But you never need to doubt Muhammad Ali. He fought until his mind couldn't
Yeah,
do
couldn't
it
work
anymore.
anymore, yeah.
You know what I mean? He got killed fighting. He
He got
died
killed.
fighting. He died fighting. He died
Martin
the
Luther
year Hugh Masekela arrived in the United States. The same year Hugh Masekela won his Grammy Award under his own independent record label in 1968, becoming the first South African artist to
But your views on women,
be
was
the
that
main
because of what
artist
happened with...
on a Grammy Award-winning album. The previous artist that won a Grammy Award for an album was Mama Africa Miriam Makeba, but she did a duet album with Harry Belafonte.
His
So
question.
yeah, no, I want to go back to
views
your question.
On
Yeah,
women.
your views on women, why you think they're narcissists and evil.
No, I mean, like, look, I was having this conversation, especially with a lot of the women that I met here, right? I find that they've got no sense of, like, empathy for the condition of black men. And yet, all of them come from a black man's nutsack. Each and every single one of them. Like, the sperm determines whether you're an XX or an XY chromosome. XX is a woman. You understand? So a woman can never produce a male because she's only got X chromosome. You understand? A woman, right? Only a male can produce a woman. He's got the XY chromosome. You know what I mean? His seed decides whether the child is a boy or a girl. You know what I mean? He determines what that child will be named. Because
Keep going.
their name changes
Yep.
depending on whether they're a boy or girl. All of those things. He gives them their family name, all of those lineage. Now, the thing is that you see your father unable to do the things that you expect of fathers, right? And then you think that your father is cheating you. But you don't understand that there's an entire system of oppression, of subjugation, you know, of genocide. Because the reason why your father is alive today is because his ancestors survived the genocide by luck. or by hook or by crook, or whatever their means were for them to be able to raise kids and for us to be here, our great-grandparents were being genocided back then. How is it that 100 years from now, Palestinian women expect Palestinian men to be able to provide the same way European men are able to provide at the helm of empire? You can't expect that. So what type of person expects that of black men? It can only be a narcissist. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to be so selfish that you don't understand the condition. This person is drowning, but I want to use him as a flotation device. He's drowning. How are you using a drowning human being to float on? Him saving you kills you. We all watched Titanic. You saw how stupid that shit was. They both could have fitted on that fucking door. And she's the one who couldn't swim, the bitch. Because she couldn't swim, the nigga is now in the Atlantic Ocean. In the Atlantic Ocean, the coldest
Come
ocean
on, that
there is.
wasn't a movie, don't you? Come on.
But he still froze to death, bro. It still hurt me. I was 7 years old. There was a pissing break in that movie.
I can feel the passion in this
Do you
nigga's
understand what I'm
voice.
saying?
It was a movie.
Do you understand? It was a movie, but it showed me that men's lives are disposable.
Oh, fam.
And there's no empathy from women. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was no empathy from women. And she was cheating on her husband anyway. She was cheating on her husband. The nigga had the most expensive diamond thing. She cheats with a nigga who's in 3rd class, steams up the... Oh, my God. We brought you out here into this ocean to find this rare diamond.
not just
And
let
you
it loose.
actually have it on you. And you lie, and then you just throw it in the water. Oh, my God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what type of emotion is that? What type of emotion is that? That's heartlessness.
This guy.
That's cold. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something that I learned. I actually learned this the same year I learned the Titanic. I was drowning at my first swimming lesson in grade 1 in school. Right? My sister is there on the grandstand. We're in the shallow end, whatever, but I was still short. I only had my growth spurt, I think, when I was 17, 18. That's when I got tall. So before then, I was like a short kid. You know? I'm drowning. I walked on the floor of the swimming pool until I got to the stairs and got up. My sister watched me drowning, didn't help me. My sister swims in the fucking ocean. She's 6 years older than me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then that moment I realized that, damn, as a man, you have to be on your own. Because if I drowned, no one would have said, why didn't his sister save him? She's a girl. So they would be like, hey, the teacher should have saved him. Someone should have saved him. It wouldn't have been her responsibility. But as a man, if my sister was drowning there,
Why were you
though
just
I'm younger,
looking on?
why didn't you save your sister? You're the brother. You understand what I'm saying? So women have got no responsibility and they run away from responsibility, and each and every single thing that they do is to liberate themselves from the responsibilities of being decent human beings.
But then
These
again,
statements, is this why your wife left?
No. She knew about these statements and she believed in them as well.
Oh, right.
But
That's why you got along.
No. That's that's why she was pretending to get in with me, because she wanted to benefit. You understand?
Okay.
And that's the benefit. You know what I mean? I wished her a happy birthday the other day. She's 34 now.
but look at
And
it this way, Nota. You said 34 and what?
And divorced.
I mean, come on.
But isn't that a
She
man's,
chose to
isn't
be
that
an
a man's role,
undesirable
though?
woman.
Isn't that a man's role to provide?
Yes, it is. But unfortunately, as black men, we're not in a position to provide.
Yeah, but how long are we going to cry, woe is me?
Yes, that's fine, right? The thing is this, is that while we're trying to fix ourselves, these women are deliberately trying to sabotage us, trying to stop us from progressing. They want us to satisfy their wants instead of satisfying our needs as a community, as a society. That's the thing. We need to have priorities. You understand? You don't go to school and then your first class, you're learning calculus. You start at grade 1. You progress. We need to progress as a people. We need to find our identity. We need to find our self-determination. We need to find our sovereignty as nations. We need to find our nationhood. The same way the Chinese have it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? The same way the Indians have it. The Indians were slaves too. They were also colonized and everything else, but now they've got their own self-determination. They've got their own pride. Their men are able to provide for the women. Do you understand? And their women don't disrespect them. Black women are the ones that are stepping out. I walk through Zambia, I see a whole lot of mixed kids.
He said that.
And I know their dads are white. I know their dads are white. Most of the mixed kids in Zambia, their dads are white. That's how they got mixed. Not because their mothers are white. Why? Because we are loyal.
Starting to sound like Dr. Uma in here now.
I mean, he's got some points. He's got some
You
facts.
agree with most of what he says?
Dude, I can have white women. I grew up in Sandton, the richest square mile in Africa. That's where I grew up, in Africa, not South Africa. In the entire continent of 1.4 billion people, the richest square mile is where I grew up. It's dominated by white people. I lost my virginity to a white girl. You understand what I'm saying? Well, she took my virginity, because I don't know if she was a virgin. You know what I mean? But I was. So you understand? So that's the thing that we're lacking, is that women don't understand. Like, wow, we've got so much temptation. I could marry up. I could marry a Jewish girl.
And be set for life.
And be set for generations. Forget life.
Generation.
Like, what do you mean? For generations. Like generational wealth. That's the thing, is that we're thinking about being set for life. That's the thing. Our women are thinking about being set for life. They're not thinking that when I'm a great-grandmother, what am I passing to my great-grandchildren? What am I inheriting to my children? You're not. You think about, I want to have a Louis bag right now. I want to have this, I want to have this, I want to have this. You don't even have your own farm, your own land. You can't feed yourself.
We
And
want
therefore,
we want
a white
we
man
want
feeds you,
we
and
want the
therefore
land back.
You need to wear Indian women's hair because you need to be proximus to whiteness so that you can get a better paying salary. You know that if you're a professional, you work in the banking sector, you're in the legal sector, whatever, unless you've got weave and white women's hair, you're getting paid the lower grade. You understand? At their job interview, you're the one that's not getting picked. Why? Because you're the one that's refusing to assimilate to whiteness.
Right.
So therefore, you're going to be problematic. Imagine if we've got a dreadlock lawyer now coming into our constitutional law firm. Now she's going to want to change the constitution. You can see that this one is Bob Marley woke. You understand what I'm saying? You can see that. In fact, she's Peter Touch.
Yeah, go ahead, Kalenga.
I also brought up the issue of aren't we supposed to be providers? And that just took my mind to religion. Where's your mind in religion? What do you believe in?
I believe in God.
Ah, great.
I believe Jesus Christ died for me.
Okay.
And I'm saved by the blood of the Lamb.
Wow. I don't know why I expected something totally different because you've got such polarizing views and
No, I don't.
expected something
I
totally
stick to what I read in the Bible.
Okay,
I
great.
rebuke the prosperity preachers. That's what I was taught in the book of Luke. That's the thing, is that you guys read the Bible for the verses that resonate with you.
So
That's the thing. The Bible says we must accept slavery. We must be servants and everything else. This Bible wants black people. That's why they gave us the Bible. Yo, the fucking Bible starts with a nigger who's talking to a bush that's on fire, who needs to be sent on a mission where he's going to save his people from slavery. And that mission means they need to cross over a fucking ocean, right? And believe that that ocean is not going to envelop them, that God is going to protect them, and that ocean is going to turn into land. They're going to be able to walk on top of the water to the other place. And then when they get to that other place, that person doesn't even complete the mission. His job was just to get them across the water. It takes them another 40 years of wandering in the wilderness until Joshua gets them to the promised land. Away from slavery. The whole entire book is telling you about this whole entire ordeal. And then you now surmise as a black person, right, that no, this book is trying to keep us enslaved. No, it's the preachers that are keeping you enslaved. And the book of Luke tells you about these preachers that are going to twist the word of God.
What does it say exactly?
I can't quote it. But read the book of Luke. I don't have I can't quote verses. I didn't study the theology. But I'm just saying that's the summation of that thing. We're living in the times of Revelations. If you read the book of Revelations, this is the end of times. This is Sodom and Gomorrah. You understand what I'm saying? There's people walking around with their peepees out in front of kids in the streets, parading. Do you understand? In the biggest cities in the world. There's fire raining from the skies in the Holy Land. Fire raining from the skies in the Holy Land. You watch CNN, you see fire raining in the skies, in the Holy Land. Yeah. Like, are you not seeing that, hey, actually I've read this chapter.
We have Elon Musk chipping people's brains.
I mean, you know what I mean? There's all this thing, there's transhumanism happening. You know what I mean? People are changing form. Men are turning into women. Women are turning into men. The soil is becoming seed. The seed is becoming soil. How does that work? You know? So the world is upside down. And the thing is that we don't hold true to our conservative values.
Nota, I've been wanting to ask this question from the time we started about music. Can I get to music now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. You have time and again.
The devil loved music.
Yeah, he did.
Lucifer, son of the
In
morning.
fact, he was
Yes.
choir master. Or
the
something
choir
of this
master.
sort.
Yes.
To music, you have time and again just spoken about how you are like the or an authority of hip hop music in South
No,
Africa.
of music in South Africa.
Music,
Yeah, in
you're an
general.
authority.
Yes.
And you speak about how hip hop is reaping the benefits of systems that you set about 15 years
Not
ago.
hip hop, all South African music.
All South African music
Yes.
that you individually set up.
That I've been setting up. So
What systems are these, and what-
it doesn't matter about the systems, right? What matters is the results. The result is that the person that ensured that Africa has its first pop star is me. I went to Los Angeles. I met Sylvia Rohn. I made sure Sylvia Rohn signs up South African artists. That's why you got an artist like Tyler winning BETs, MTV Awards, AMAs. That is my direct work. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is my direct work. I set that up. It wouldn't have happened without me going to the Beverly Hilton Hotel where Whitney Houston died. It wouldn't have happened without me knowing Tuma Basa, who's the head of urban YouTube, who got me on the guest list when I was gate crashing, who introduced me to Sylvia Rohn, or Refilo Ramachase, Thingamajig, TKZ's manager, who knew Sylvia Rohn, who could have set up South African artists with Sylvia Rohn, never did it. But when I was in Los Angeles and I saw Sylvia Rohn in front of me, I knew I could call him, and he'd tell me what I need to say to introduce myself. You understand? And I did that. I did the work. And guess what I did with that work? I made sure that I cut myself out. I don't take a cut. Why? Because if I take a cut, they are going to lose out. The artists are going to lose out for the sake of me taking that. And the reason why no other artists were able to make it is because everybody else that was at that table decided they wanted to take a cut. They wanted to eat. They didn't want to see the country flourish. And I wanted to see my country flourish because I wanted to see the continent flourish because I knew that the entire continent flourishes if my country flourishes, because so much of the continent, there's no one that can identify an African like a South African. South Africans know each and every single African because we see each and every single one of them. Zambia, yeah, you're starting to see that now. You've even got Ethiopian restaurants, but you don't have an Eritrean restaurant.
You do.
We have Ethiopian, Eritrean restaurants,
especially.
Djibouti restaurants or whatever, owned by people from Djibouti. We know the difference between people from Nigeria and Benin and Ghana and Burkina Faso. All of Africa is in Johannesburg. Johannesburg, my home city where I was born in Parktown. You see that building that is on the icon of Johannesburg? That the shadow of that building crosses the hospital where I was born in Parktown, Florence Nightingale. Right? I'm just telling you. That is where I was born, in the heart of that city. That is the richest black city in the
Parktown
world.
is CBD,
the
right?
city with the most black millionaires is Johannesburg. That's my home city.
We're digressing. I'm trying to understand the systems that you set up for African music to benefit from.
I'm saying, look at the results. Forget the systems. Because the systems
I
don't
ask
matter.
about the
What I'm
systems
saying is that the
because
systems
how
don't matter.
you
Because
directly-
the systems.
I ask about the systems
this,
because-
this is how the systems were set up. I figured out how to get to number one, best selling. Number two, best selling. To get enough money and revenue to get myself a seat at the table, at the big table in the United States. Because I'm the big kahuna in South Africa. And I've broken every single record there is in South Africa. So that earns me a seat at the table at the master's house. When I'm at the master's house, I'm not trying to sell myself. I'm trying to sell the kids back home because they need to be sold. Because I come from a home that's well enough off that I never lacked the confidence of thinking that I won't make it if someone else makes it ahead of me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I never thought that if this guy gets ahead of me, if this artist that I'm pushing, it becomes famous, and that means that one day I won't be able to live out my dream that I had as a kid. No, I never did that. I pushed all these other kids. I helped everybody get ahead of me. That's the thing. I was unselfish about that, you know? So not everyone's going to take that gift and run with it. You know what I mean? The same opportunity that Tyler has is the same opportunity Shoma Josie had. Shoma Josie didn't do as much with that opportunity as Tyler did, but Tyler's much
managed
more
her, right?
talented. No, I didn't manage her. She's just a friend. I accompanied her to the BET Awards, right? While she was busy shooting her video and everything else, I went there and gate crashed all these other industry parties that I wasn't invited at, and that's how I met Sylvia Rohn. Do you understand what I'm
Who's
saying?
Sylvia Rohn?
Sylvia, dude, Google her. I can't. I cannot. Imagine if there's a video of me telling you who Sylvia Rohn is.
Do you know who she is, Kananga?
No, I'm
It's
checking the Googles right now.
RHONE. She'll be the top result.
Yeah.
Not with an SY.
Or SY. Oh, there we go.
Quickly.
Well,
Why don't
it's just social media accounts, not really
use
a
Gemini?
Wikipedia.
Use Gemini, guys. You gotta use AI now. AI will give you the bio summary.
Oh, you use it there.
All right. Talk
I
amongst
asked
yourselves.
about system that you said because I'm looking for a situation where, like, artists in South Africa, I could say
The
relative,
system is already set in South Africa. The industry is already set.
right?
I just know how to use the settings of the industry to ensure that we're able to export global stars. That's it.
Look, my question now is, how can Zambian hip hop and the music industry learn from these things or systems that you've set up?
Set up the same level of systems that we have in South Africa to ensure that there is enough return on investment for anyone that endeavors in the music so that it can be investable. And therefore, you can spend however many millions. Think about it like this. All of those things don't get to happen if we don't spend R1 million and shoot a Spirit music video. Most expensive music video in South Africa. No one's ever spent R1 million on a video.
Kwesta.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a shot for South Africans. It's an advert for South Africa. That is a R1 million video shot in the township, not shot in Sandton. R1 million video shot in the township. Invest in the township. The big lights, you see the Shaka Ilembe projections and everything else. The first time the township saw that was on the Spirit music video. Same cameras are being used. The highest level of technology, the highest production quality that can be bought or paid for in South Africa is done. At the same time, we also fly an international star from Washington down to South Africa.
Wale.
To have him walk in the streets of the townships in South Africa.
We've had Kwesta on the
understand what I'm saying?
podcast.
We have a head Kwesta, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That costs a lot of money. That's an investment. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's an investment. To have Rick Ross come through to Katlehong, that takes organization.
Is it true
What?
that I heard that when Rick Ross was shooting a video with Kwesta, Kwesta's mom stopped the music
Grandmother.
video? The grandma.
It was her birthday.
Stop the music.
No, she didn't stop the music video. Yeah, but no.
To ask them to
That's
go and
not-
buy bread from the sponsor shop.
No, she didn't stop the video. Relax.
Did you hear that
no,
story though?
It's got nothing to do with that. Yeah, okay. It's got nothing to do with that. I was in 4 ways at the time, That's the thing is that we've got an extensive team, so therefore things can be done. So he was staying in Sandton. They wanted to shoot the scene in Katlehong. He took forever to get ready. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
He took forever to get ready. And obviously Senzo was waiting there on set, waiting for Rick Ross to get ready. He took so long to get ready, he ended up buying a T-shirt from Mr. Price. That's why he's wearing a T-shirt that says Maxed. That's Mr. Price. You understand? I'm serious. So you watch the video, you can see he's wearing Maxed.
I mean, you bought a suit from Markham's?
I mean, for Kwesta, yes. I did it. I did. So that he could perform with Kelly Rowland at the Summers. You know what I mean? He wasn't supposed to be there. Slicker made sure he cut him out just so that he could smash Bonang while she was dating Euphonic. You know? I mean, I walked into the hotel room, found her naked when we were supposed to be changing. Bonang. She was in Slick's hotel room. We got there with the suit. We're trying to now get changed so that this nigga can get on the stage for
why
the
would
red
the brother
carpet.
lie?
And then, she's naked in the room. She's not shifting. She's not moving. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, we just came to get changed. We just pretend we don't see anything. But I mean, if you've been to modeling shows and everything else and you've been behind the scenes, you've seen naked women before. So you know how to act in that situation. You don't.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? So we didn't act. We just moved to the bathroom, got dressed, moved along. But the whole entire thing is that by getting there, we realized that the reason why this nigga left Senzo behind for his golden opportunity to perform on stage for the MTN World Cup song. MTN is a Zambian brand, so I can say it. You know what I mean? They need to put money here.
I work for MTN.
MTN pays his
what I'm
kids'
saying.
school fees. You understand? So we can mention them here. They do good work.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not lying.
Komba will love this.
You understand? So everywhere you go,
Yeah.
you go.
Just
Oh,
the color
Kelly
of the
Rowland
sofa that you're sitting
you
on.
understand? Yeah, all that type of stuff. Yeah, yellow.
Are you getting paid for this?
I mean, MTN is one of the biggest.
I mean, they might as well.
They're one of the biggest companies in South Africa. You know how I'm about promoting South African brands. Well, all Southern African brands. So MTN was doing that thing. And the reason why he left him behind and didn't take him to Sun City to go and get that onstage moment, to get introduced by Trevor Noah, was presenting or hosting the Summers for the last time before he ends up now going to do the Grammys. So imagine if you didn't have that moment in your career where you're performing with Kelly Rowland, you get introduced by Trevor Noah, and you look back at it at the 10-year anniversary of the World Cup being passed in 2020, and you look back, 10 years ago, that's what I was doing. That was in 2010. You understand? So I took my Markham's card because I had a Markham's account. I borrowed my sister's Yaris. Do you understand? I had to borrow my sister's car.
That's like a Vitz
I didn't have a
in
car.
Zambia.
You understand? This is in 2010. I borrowed my sister's car, fetched the nigga from Katlehong, where every time I go there, my mother gets called because it was my mother had purchased the car and it has a tracking device. And whenever the tracking device detects that it's in the township, they call my mother to say, hey, your car's in the township. Again. You know what I mean? What are you doing in the township? No, I'm just going to Sun City. I just had to pick someone up. Hey, get out of there fast. Okay. Tracker's already calling me. You know what I mean? I had to do all those things only to find that this nigga left this motherfucker behind so that he could smash a girl. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no way I can respect you after that. That was the day I lost all respect for that man. For Slicker. You know what I mean? All respect. All respect.
Slicker on life.
And that was the day I decided, Senzo, if your career is ever going to go anywhere, we need to get rid of all these motherfuckers. I will see to finish. Kwesta.
Oh, right. Oh, that's his name?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
You were thinking of Meyiwa.
No, the reggae artist.
Because when I hear Senzo, I think of Meyiwa.
I think of the reggae artist.
You know what I mean? I also saw him the day he died.
Who? Senzo Meyiwa? Are you serious?
Yeah, we were performing.
With who?
Kelly Kumalo was also on the same lineup.
What do you think happened to him?
I think that he fucked both the sisters. And then the boyfriend found out.
So
that's what I think.
Wait, you think the boyfriend killed him?
What I'm saying is that the last picture on the day he was there with the sister.
Because
what I'm saying is that when I saw them,
Nota.
It looked like the nigga could smash both the sisters.
Nota.
I saw him the day he died.
Nota, listen.
It's facts.
Nota, chill, bruh.
The thing is that everyone's like,
you know who the father is, right?
Of who?
The guy who we are accusing of killing Senzo.
Who? Chico. He lives up the road from my house. What are you talking about? From my parents' house, around the corner. Come on, bro.
Chico's a gangster.
What? Chico. The last time I was in a boardroom, he walked in, I stepped out. I was like, nah, I'm not sitting in this boardroom with this nigga.
Listen, I still need to go to South Africa.
Hey, don't worry. Chico won't touch you. Not with me around. Don't worry. He can't touch me.
You do know he's a gangster though, right?
He can't touch me. All of these things I'm saying now I've said already many times.
You know how let me just give this guy context. You know how you felt when Donovan mentioned...
Yeah.
That's how I am feeling right now with this guy casually talking about... Chico would walk into a police station.
Chico's an apartheid agent, dog. Why was he famous during the apartheid times? Come on, dog. Come on. Don't tell me we miss you, Maniello. I had to censor it. Fuck you, bro. Come on, dog. We know that you're an enemy agent. You were making people dance.
So you think Chico's son is the one that killed Senzo?
No. I don't know what happened inside the house. But what I do know is that there was a reason for that kid to get angry, right? And I think that he felt like Senzo was smashing his chick as well.
Because apparently he was not invited at the house.
That's not the point. The point is that when they're in a picture together, right? Transcripts friend, Mtogo, right, is in the picture, but he's hiding. And then you can see Zandi and you can see him. And then when I look at the transcripts of the case, when they talked about the incident where they were all in Senzo's Mayor's Dal apartment, you must remember that we had a studio in Vosloorus around the corner from where he lived. So apart from me seeing him on the day that he died, right, the day after, everything, we were driving past that house. We've got a friend that lives right around the corner, Ubanel, in Vosloorus. Katlehong, Vosloorus is one area, Katoras. We were in K1 at that point in time. You know what I mean? We begged Arthur to put us on the lineup for that gig. We drove all the way from Durban. Like, you dog, we've got no gigs. We've got nothing. Arthur Mafukati, please just give us a gig. We'll drive all the way from Durban. He give us 5,000. Like, we'll do it. So at that point in time, we're dead broke. Like, broke. You understand what I'm saying? The only thing that saved us is because we did that feature with DJ Stick, Do Like I Do. And then it blew up, and then we started gigging a bit, but it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that much. And then, unfortunately, the following year, Flubber passes away on the 9th of March, my dad's birthday. There's also BIG's, what is it, the day he died or his birthday? It's the day he died, 9th of March, right? And that sent the song to the top of the charts. And then we were booked out from that point onwards up until
you were not broken
2019.
I feel I know you've got a bunch of questions that you want to ask, but I feel this guy.
Please go ahead.
I know this guy will most likely give
us.
No, but
I just want to explain to you what happened. So, observing what had happened in the court transcripts, right? They said they were at the mayor's Dell house where Senzo was. And Zandi's phone was ringing off the hook and Mtogo was told not to answer it. If Zandi and Mtogo are sitting together, why is he being told not to answer the phone? Why doesn't she manage her phone herself? It's because she's in the other room. You understand?
What's she doing?
Getting her brains blown out or something. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know what she could be doing in the other room, but she's not answering the phone when her boyfriend is phoning and leaving 20 missed calls like a madman. You understand? And after he leaves 20 missed calls, he now goes to the house in Fosterus. In the court transcripts, the guy, he testified in court that no, after that, because this guy was angry, we had to rush to the grandmother's house. So we ended up rushing to the grandmother's house. The drive from Mayor's Dal to Fosterus, where they are, they have to take Klipfontein Road drive. It's maybe a 15-minute drive if you're speeding. If you're speeding, it's still 15 minutes because there's stop signs. When you get to the hood, there's bumps and everything else, you know what I mean, to get in there. But you can get in there within 15 minutes in an X4. Or what car were they driving?
X6.
You understand? In a grey X6. You know, there was no fence at that house. It had no wall. It was dilapidated.
There was no
pirates captain, he was dating some broke-ass hood girl. Just because she was a famous singer at some point in time. And that's why he died. He cheated on his wife, and that's what you get if you cheat on your wife with a broke girl. You die like that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm serious. Guy. That's what you get. Unfortunately for him, ufele manyale. He did that to himself as a man. And these are the things that make women disrespect us as men. These are the things that make women disrespect us. Because the same way we're saying women are narcissists and all these things, but look at Senzo Meyiwa. He's got a good wife. She gave him a kid. She was studying. She was doing well in her life. She was upgrading herself. She kept begging him to stay away from this witch. But he decided to eat the korobela. And didn't keep at it in time. And it ended up killing him. Korobela is whatever witchcraft these narcissists use to entrap you. I mean, they must be using... Like, there's no way Kelly is prettier than his wife. She's not. Yes, she's light-skinned, but she's not prettier than his wife. If you look at Senzo Meyiwa's wife, look at Senzo Meyiwa's wife. Google her. Look at her. That's wife material, even though she's got a weave. You know? Even though she's got a weave.
A weave.
Yeah. But that's still wife material. Do you understand?
I'm going to keep cruising through this. You claimed, Kalenga, listen to this.
Not to be confused with Kalanga.
Let me finish my question.
Because some of my people will think that he's talking to me.
Yeah.
All right. You claimed that Cassper's wife is being smashed by his homies.
No.
In your vest,
what I'm saying is that one of the niggas that plays FIFA, one of the niggas who's got the same surname as me, and whose dad was a Bafana captain, smashed Cassper's wife. And he plays FIFA at Cassper's house. You understand? So you can connect the dots and figure out who that is. I'm not going to name names, but he's got the Baloyi surname like I do. And his dad doesn't have the Baloyi surname. His dad has got the surname. His dad's surname is my mother's clan name, Khatebe.
I'm not going to mention names. But I'm going to give you 2 names.
No. Let's go back to the book of Luke. We denounce the prosperity preachers. We denounce the charlatans that use the word of God to entrap people, to make people think that, oh no, I'm all holy.
What beef do you have with Cassper?
He said something about I need to take pills or something.
No, he says whatever. I'm minding my own business, wondering if Nota has taken his pills
today. Like that's a very offensive. So if you're gonna shoot a Palestinian rocket at me, I'm gonna IDF you. That's it.
And you said it's got a small PP.
I don't fuck around.
You said it's got a small PP?
That's an IDF.
That's small PP.
The small PP.
Yeah.
He's not Tsonga.
Yo.
I'm just saying.
I'm not laughing at that joke.
He's not Tsonga. I didn't say he's got a small PP, but his bitches did.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And they told me. And he couldn't deny it. He didn't refute it. And say, yo, no, look, this is how long my dick is. No, niggas didn't fuck my bitch. And they didn't beat me at FIFA. I saw it. It's on your TikTok. Now you can't invite niggas to the house anymore. Thank you. We'll have peace. You'll stop worrying about who's taking pills and who's not. I mean, what did I say to him for him to now post that? Do you know that I read that tweet and I said, I'll respond tomorrow?
Yeah, because you chilled.
Yeah. I waited.
Did you know about that, Mike?
I took my time. I put it in drafts. And then I waited until I wake up early in the morning. I posted it at 5 a.m. when everybody's asleep. Or something like that. Or maybe at 6 a.m. I wake up at 4.
Dude, tell me about the podcast that you're co-hosting with Wait, so have we now confirmed that Sbu is Mzex?
Have you confirmed it?
I'm asking you.
I have no idea.
Yes.
I'm
asking you because you work with Sbu.
I've never seen the two of them in one room together. I've never. So I cannot confirm.
That's Mzex that you have on your t-shirt, right?
Mzex Kitchen. Yeah, I gotta push. You know what I mean? He's like, this is part of the job. You know, when you go on to other podcasts, you need to push the podcast that feeds you in food.
You're a shareholder of this one, right? Huh? You're a shareholder.
Of what?
Mzex
I've
Kitchen?
got my own businesses. Why would I want to be a shareholder in Mzex Kitchen? I'm an entrepreneur in my own right. Yeah.
So are you worth 10 million, right?
I have no idea how much I'm worth. But I do know that, you know, when I die, I've left everything to my sister.
Do you have any kids?
0 yet.
Okay.
The
That you
sister
know of.
who almost saw your
I
drowning.
mean, but if I have
Witnessed you
kids,
drowning.
she'll take care of them. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But she's my sister
Nah,
at
come
the
on,
end of the day.
you were kids then, it's okay. We can move
Yeah,
on.
yeah. You know what I mean? My sister who paid for all my legal fees over the past year and whatever.
Oh, that's
years.
dope.
I think she made up for watching you drown.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think she
did,
made me
yeah.
strong. I think she made me strong. I realized that, okay, fine, I need to figure things out. That was the first moment where I had to figure things out. I mean, the next moment that happened where I needed to figure things out, I was still very shaky with swimming, but we went to Bella, to Aventura, like a resort. And then, you know, there are those like water slides and then there's those floating things. And the white kids were all over the things with the floating things. Now I'm under the water and they're floating on top of me. You know what I mean? And I could have panicked and swallowed water, but I didn't.
Is that
because
how
my
your
sister
head
taught
got
me
big?
that lesson. What?
Your head.
It got big. Like I got a big
Oh, you got a
head.
massive head.
No. My head is not massive. I wear size 7 cap. A
the
new
hair.
era cap.
It's the hair, right?
7. It's the hair.
I don't know, but it looks like it's got a big head though.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No, I don't. I've got a small head, but I've got a small body, so it makes me look like.
Like a bobblehead. Yeah. But can you swim now?
Can I
Can you swim now?
swim? Of course, I can swim in the ocean.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. After that, I learned how to swim. What I'm saying is that she taught me how not to panic in such situations.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I first panicked. I waved. I'm like, save me. And then she's not coming. I'm like, fuck it. I need to figure this out on myself. So then I sank to the bottom, and then I was like, oh damn, I can walk here. Oh, there's the step. Oh damn. Okay, cool. It's tough to walk underwater though. You know what I mean? But I made it, and then once I got my hand on my step,
That's it.
I'm
Sorted.
gone. Sorted.
We put up a post on Friday because we're expecting to land midday Friday
Oh, I'm so
on
sorry.
Facebook. And we asked people to ask questions that, for those who knew you,
Did we explain why I couldn't come
to them. No.
on the podcast that I was on the Interpol? Oh,
No,
yes, you did.
now
Sorry,
we
guys.
have. Now we have.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they'll see this on Tuesday.
Okay, yeah.
Or the Interpol thing.
Yeah.
Let me just read one or two. Nota fought his dad when he was 4 years old for voting for the ANC.
Dude, I'm tired of explaining this thing.
Okay, then we'll skip
So
it.
I at 4 years old, I couldn't tell the difference between Nelson Mandela and ANC. So my dad said, I asked my dad, who did you vote for, Dad? He said ANC. I was like, what the hell? We're supposed to vote for Mandela. My dad was like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? You understand? He dismissed it because he's talking to a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, cool.
You
Moving on.
understand? Like he didn't feel the need to explain to a 4-year-old. He's like, what the fuck is this
Wait,
kid
what was
talking
your
about?
question? What was the question that you asked?
Like,
No, I'm reading
I
the-
fought with my dad about
fought with your
voting
dad.
for ANC
Yeah.
when I was 4 years old. And I'm
Okay,
saying,
yeah.
it's like, what is Kenneth Kaunda's party?
UNIP.
UNIT. Let's say... UNIP, right? Let's say you're asking your dad to vote for Kenneth Kaunda. Cool, you guys go to the elections, you accompany him in the line, whatever, he goes to the voting booth. You're like, Dad, did you vote for KK? Yes, I voted UNIP. You're like, no, what is UNIP? You're 4 years old. You don't know...
Yeah, you know nothing.
You know what I mean?
You should have
So it
voted for
makes-
KK instead of UNIP.
Yeah,
but what do you think about their grasp on power, though? Because they seem to be losing it.
The ANC.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I voted against them 3 times. I
Who-
voted
who are you
MK,
voting for,
MK,
though?
MK.
You
This
voted
next one.
Wait, hold on. You voted MK.
Yeah.
What do you think of the fighting that's happening with Floyd right now?
Well, I'm not voting for them next year, so I don't.
because
really
of Floyd?
care. No, I already knew I wasn't going to vote for them in the local elections.
Are you
Local
voting-
elections about municipalities, who picks up my trash and all that shit. I was
Are you
already
voting
knew I was-
EFF?
No. Why? I've already made that mistake. I voted for EFF when Zuma was president. I think I've done enough.
So who are you voting for now?
I voted for EFF when it was unpopular to do so.
So who are you
Understand?
voting
I
for?
voted for them in the first elections they ran in.
Oh, serious?
When they were untested prospect. I gave them my hope.
So what's
You understand?
changed?
I mean, they lost my vote. That's it. You need to ask them what's changed. They lost my vote. I'm voting for Action SA in the next local election.
What do you think? What do you think with what's happening with Floyd?
I mean, look, for me, I stopped caring about what other political players are doing, and I'm focused on what I can do. You know what I mean? So whatever they're doing, let them do it, because it makes it easier for me to get done what I need to do. The more they fight and divide each other's views and confuse people, the more people will start resonating and listening to me.
Right.
And the more I can then chart a path at which I want to lead people.
Do you think this GNU is working?
Of course it's not working. It's a complete failure. People are suffering more and more each and every single day. You understand? It's an elite pact. And the elite only protect their own asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can I read just
But
maybe
don't
two
worry,
more?
we'll be eating the rich soon.
Can I read two more?
Oh, here we go.
And I hope it's not one you've answered
Elsewhere.
over and over. No. Like one you've answered over
But
and
hey,
over.
man, you never know who's watching.
Yeah. Nota borrowed his dad money, or is it lent money at the age of 5?
No, I didn't borrow my dad money. What I said is that during the pandemic, my parents needed to have money to sort out whatever things were going wrong in businesses. We needed to extend the house, and then they took what was at that point my life savings and then misappropriated it in things that I didn't want. And then it was actually my mother. But my dad paid it back. So yeah. Because that's what men have to do. You know what I mean? Your wife will now spend 2 million of your son's money, and now you have to pay it back. It's like, what the fuck?
It was 2 million.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean, now terms, like, 1.7 something.
You gave them $1 million?
No,
Rand?
there was 3 million in the account. And then I didn't have control of the account. Like, I started my business when I was 12 years old. So
Yeah, man.
everything had to be registered by my mother.
Yeah.
Yes, because she was of age.
Wait, so what did you spend the money on?
Like I told you, borrowing money to my aunt who was trying to save her garages after her husband died, and they were in community of property. So Total wanted to take back the property because the estate hadn't wrapped up. It took 2 years for the estate to be wrapped up. She had to fight with lawyers. Like, it was a whole lot of family mess, right? That I was already going through my own shit. My industry is shut down. I'm not earning money. And I've got plans not to be working anymore. And I saved that money for certain things that I wanted to invest in, and then I couldn't do that. And then, when you don't have all your money all at once, let's say you've got 1 million kwacha, right? That you want to spend on something. And then all of a sudden you don't have it. And when you do get it back, you're getting it back in 100,000 kwacha at a time, in 10 installments. You won't be able to do what you need to do. That money will end up disappearing to doing many other things. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that put me in a very compromised position. That compromised position means that then I would now need support for like legal fees from like my sister, who I don't want to ask for help. You know what I mean? She let me drown. Why do I want to ask for help? You know what I mean? But now I'm in a position, I'm
You
like,
did
damn
not
it.
drown.
Now my sister, I did not
You're
drown.
alive. You're breathing.
Yes.
You're
And
okay.
I'm free, yes. You know what I mean? But when I have to ask my sister, fuck, my sister will remind me, I borrowed you 170,000 rand, bro. You know what I mean?
Lent. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. She'll also correct me like that.
Nota always has something to say. Nota is a liar. A lot of people are calling you a liar.
Yeah, I know, but everything is verifiable. Unfortunately for them. Unfortunately for them. They can call me a liar, but none of them can tell you the
Look at
lie
this.
that I told.
My reaction when I hear Nota is coming to that Z podcast.
I mean,
Where's that?
I rehearsed that meme. I rehearsed that meme. I wanted to give Altido a moment.
You rehearsed it.
Yeah.
Tell me something else, Nota. You claimed that Lord Jay-Z had a hand in you getting your Twitter account suspended.
Yes.
Jay-Z.
Yes, because of
Sean
the Kanye
Carter.
thing.
Give me
Yes,
some horns.
because of the Kanye thing.
Before we hear the...
My
story on this
tweet.
one.
Go to my Twitter profile. There's a pinned tweet which tells you the entire article. That article is based on my tweets. The article is telling you the reason why there's a beef between Jay and Ye. That beef is still continuing today. Ye tweeted, no, me and Ye are still brothers. Are they still brothers, guys? Ye tweeted. And everybody's like, Nota, you were lying. Ye just tweeted that they're brothers. I'm like, but he didn't. He said, Jay doesn't even get his masters back until 9 years from now.
What, Ye has his masters?
Yeah, he doesn't have his masters. That's what he was fighting for.
Oh, right.
And everybody's like, yeah, you just mad because Jay-Z got his masters. Because what I said is that, so Jay-Z gave everybody else on Rockefeller's masters away just so he could get them. Because what we heard the deal was that when he was...
Def Jam president?
You understand? He then got given an option to have his masters...
Back, yeah.
You understand? Revert to him for his albums. Right? And also at the same time, he wanted to have the rights all revert back to him for reasonable doubt. But there's a law in America since 1973, all master recordings revert back to the original maker after 35 years. You know, and it is that 5-year window period where you need to apply for that, which is why Shaka Khan got her masters back, right? Because that 35-year window period expired. In South Africa, it's 25 years. That's the life of copyright, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what he just said. He just said, yo, don't make this beef between us. He wasn't saying, yo, I'm beefing with Jay. Yes. But now he comes on with academics. He's like, okay, how come Jay-Z makes more of my masses than I do? Just now with academics.
I remember that.
Just now, recently, when he was wearing that black
KKK
cape. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the beef is still there. And it's about those masters.
Wait, so how did Jay have a hand in...
I explained it. I read the contracts. I read through the contracts because I read through the contracts. I got the contracts as a one document, like a normal PDF. So someone took the contracts, put them one document and made it a PDF. I've still got it on my Google Drive. I read through the contracts and then I was like, oh, that's why he's angry. I'm a record executive. I read the contracts. I understand what the contract means. I understand the legalese. No one understands these contracts more than me. I'm the guy who signs, guys.
So again, how did you arrive at the fact that Jay had a hand in your Twitter?
Because I saw... Oh, yes, because he was chilling with Jack Dorsey that weekend and they were posting pictures together. And then my account is completely suspended. You must remember, no accounts were getting suspended at the time. Those accounts were being put and then under suspicion of whatever conduct. So whenever you go into the account, you'll see the account, but it says, this account has got suspicious whatever. Mine was completely removed. Account permanently suspended. That's the first time that had ever been written next to an account. The next time it was written next to an account was when Donald Trump got permanently suspended. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why would the head of Twitter, right, be chilling with the nigger, the subject that I'm talking about, and then I'm the account that gets permanently suspended? Why else?
But are you the only person, though, that is talking about this? Why would you be on Jay's
viral.
radar?
It doesn't matter that I was the one who was talking about it. I'm the one who made it viral. Academics covered it. Jason Lee covered it. Impressive Channel covered it. All the United States blog, the Company Man covered it. Double XL covered it. That's the article. Every single media. It trended in the United States and it didn't trend in Zambia, so you wouldn't understand. Yeah. But this thing was trending in the United States.
Shots fired.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if it's on trending topics in the United States, that means niggas in the United States are seeing this shit.
Yeah, but it's not trending here, yeah.
You understand? So it's not trending here, so you won't understand, why it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z's in the United States. When he checks what's trending, fuck. This nigga is exposing my whole entire thing. Kanye even told him that I'm only getting my masters back in 9 years. That's my own secret. Like, I even told Def Jam to change all my albums to say SC LLC. Like if you go into Apple Music, it says SC LLC or S Carter LLC. It's not. It's still Def Jam. It's still RAF. Rockefeller. Inc. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, ne?
So that's the whole entire thing. That was the whole entire blow up. And there he is, staring at me.
First time in Zambia or second?
Second time.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I love Zambia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Zambia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to walk with your phone in your pants.
Yeah, I left my phone on the table and let it charge. I was apprehensive at first. I was like, guys, relax, I'm South African. So, it's going to take me some time to get used to the fact that I can put my phone somewhere at a restaurant and it won't get stolen.
Walk away.
No, in South Africa, we don't call it getting stolen. It's like, oh, no, you gave your phone away. You put yeah, no, he was being charitable with his phone.
Nah, we're very peaceful.
You know what I mean?
I told the story of when I first moved to Zambia. And I had a dude stare at my sneakers when I was at a restaurant. And I remember I grew up. No, I didn't grow up. So the school that I went to was close to Soshanguve. So I know exactly what that meant. Is you're about to go home with no shoes.
Yeah.
And so before the nigga comes and takes my shoes, I have to attack first.
Yeah.
Until I realized you are in a totally different environment.
Exactly.
Just admiring your sneakers.
Right, and now you're being the aggressor. So you kind of have to read the room a little.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So, similar to-
Yes. I hope no one was offended.
I absolutely get what you mean.
Yeah, it's like, why are we putting our phones on the charger? I was afraid. I didn't want to offend anyone. I didn't want to accuse you of being thieves. You know what I mean? But I understand in a country where you don't steal, it seems like, are you thinking we're going to steal your phone? I mean,
Right, yeah.
no. Okay, I understand why that's offensive. Okay, I'm sorry.
We were speaking earlier before you came with Nota,
Right.
Because he's on Zambian Airways back to SA. And this is something that I picked up where if you've flown SAA, like you did when you went to SA, if you've flown KQ, Kenya Airways, if you've flown Ethiopia Airways, the one thing that you will... You see what it's doing? The one thing that you will notice
Ethiopian
about all
Airways.
those airlines is they speak Vernac
First, yes.
first.
All right, then the English comes in second.
Then Zambia,
No vernac at all.
only English. Not only that, the pilots are Ethiopian. He was
right.
served by an Ethiopian guy.
No. Well, the guy who was doing the closing of the doors and everything else,
Right.
like the handover of the plane with the ground staff from South Africa. Like the ground staff in South
Yeah.
Africa has to be South African. Like, you know.
Precisely, right.
Yeah, it's part of the reserved jobs, right? So I found an Ethiopian guy assisting the ground staff, but I'm like, this is Zambian Airlines. Why is it an Ethiopian guy working for Zambian Airlines?
And I asked them the last time that I
Airways.
was on the flight, and I said, why?
In fact, there's a video of it. I put him up in my stories because I walked up into the. Oh no, I didn't put him up. Walked as I was approaching the plane. I only saw him when I was getting into the door. Yeah.
I asked the cabin crew, why do you guys not speak Vernac? What about this airline, apart from the name, says anything Zambian?
I think even the slogan, the one that it's on the news still right now, right? The One Zambia, One Nation thing. I think if they choose a language, the other part of the country will feel discriminated against. Like,
Again,
for example,
no,
we've got
hold on.
Right.
How many official languages are in South Africa?
11.
They
Or
have
12,
all of them in
or
the plane.
12.
No, they don't.
No.
That's the point that I'm making.
You speak whatever.
That's
if your
my point
language
with
is
Zambia.
Afrikaans,
Why we probably don't have the local language?
if you
No,
for
my-
that
reason, you
it's,
know what I
it's
mean?
like the pilot will speak his local language.
Exactly my point. In
if
South
he's
Africa,
a-
there's
alright,
11 languages.
yeah.
I get your point.
The pilot will speak his local language. If he speaks Afrikaans, he'll speak Afrikaans, and then he'll speak English. He'll speak whatever.
But how many languages have you heard in the flights before? From South Africa.
I've heard a bunch. I've heard Zulu, I've heard Setswana.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't fly SAA so often, like anymore. I started flying low cost airlines, but they are comedic with it.
But then again, you're
So
What,
they're-
Fly Safi?
Yeah, fly Safe. You know what I mean? They don't even have.
It's like a bus in
reclining.
the sky, though.
But I mean, there's no flight longer than 2 hours in South Africa, so it's bearable. Yeah.
Also-
it depends. It depends on the pilot. Yeah.
You guys learn your local languages in the schools as well, right?
Some languages. You learn one language. as an
Afrikaans is
additional
not taught in
language.
the school. I don't
It is
think.
as an
Is it
additional
now?
language. Yeah. It's always been.
Okay.
Yeah, but you choose.
There's so many reasons why
Some
we don't
schools have it. Some schools don't.
have local languages that.
No,
much
a
out
local
there.
language is a mandatory language as a second language or as an additional language. You need to have a language in addition to first. You need to have a first language, and then you need to have an additional language.
In school.
Yes. So
Yeah,
if your first
so
language
that's
is
my
your home
point.
language, then it's your
That's
home
my
language.
point.
But then your additional
Imagine
language
a
needs to be
pilot
English.
speaking Bemba on a plane. How many words is it going to translate? How many words are you going to be able to translate right now? Because we don't have our local languages in the schools the way we're supposed to have them. You know what I mean?
Oh, damn, you're super colonized.
So what? No, I'm talking about Zed. I'm talking about Zambia.
You guys don't have your local languages in the thing.
We do.
In schools. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do, but when did we start this?
Is it mandatory?
When did we start? Recently. And even though we started recently.
We've got
it's not that
a
serious.
teacher. She's a teacher. The lady with the afro is a teacher.
No, but my point is, are we able to use Bemba as a language of instruction on a platform like an air flight and a plane?
Oh, Bemba
Yeah,
is
that's
the
my
Bemba
point.
language, right? You guys are the Taraji P. Henson people.
What do you mean?
The Babemba tribe in South Africa. You know, in South Africa it trended. It hasn't even made it to Zambia yet. So you guys never heard of this thing?
No.
So because we're in South Africa, we're like, yo, who the fuck are the Babemba? Like, what the hell is Taraji talking about? So she's talking, I don't know, some speech. She's like, yeah, there's the Babemba tribe in South Africa. I learned from the Babemba tribe. She was actually trying to say Southern Africa. But she meant Zambia. I don't know why Americans. And Taraji, you're black. Stop that fucking ignorant shit. You're a fucking actress who makes millions of
right.
dollars.
The worst I've
Do you
heard-
understand what I'm saying? You can use AI to Google the country that you went to. You went to the fucking country, you don't know what it's called. What the fuck is that, dog? You had to go through immigration at that country. You had to stamp your fucking passport. How do you not know the countries that you've been to? But you know every European country you've been to. And there's more countries in Europe than there are here.
Lisa Nichols. I don't know. I can't remember what she was talking about. The time I was in Swahili, I visited the
Swahili.
The Maasai.
No, dude.
I don't think the Maasai speak
In her
Swahili.
mind, Swahili was a country.
Nah. Oh, do they? They speak. The Maasai speak Swahili. That's the language.
Yeah, it's the dominant language in East Africa.
Yeah, I know that. But do the Maasai speak Swahili? Because I know there's Kikuyu people. They speak something else. There's there's a whole
There's
lot of
probably a couple of them who do.
Okay, cool.
But I was very shocked. I went down to Swahili. I went with my son to Swahili. You know Lisa Nichols, public speaker in America, famous public speaker. She thinks Swahili is a country. Yeah. And she continued the whole speech talking about it when I was in Swahili.
Well, Donald Trump didn't know where Lesotho is, but now they have Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
Like a country no one's even heard of. Lesotho. No one's even heard of it.
Trump. That's a whole... What's your thought on Trump?
I love him. If I was
You'd
American,
get
I would
along
have
with
voted
him.
for Trump.
You
I
say
wish
what?
I was
I'm not
American
alone.
so I could have voted for Trump.
I'm not alone.
I was so happy.
I've
that
always been
Trump
attacked in
was
this
back.
podcast for loving Trump.
Yeah, unfortunately, we needed the world to get back to reality.
Which is what? That there's
Oh,
racism?
there goes gravity. I mean, it is. Like, you can't deny that white people feel under threat of being outbred.
Which is what's happening now, hence why they want to ban abortion.
Well, I mean, we should ban abortion as well. In South Africa, we do 400,000 of them motherfuckers each year. That's more than our total murder rate since 1990, since the ANC was unbanned. Imagine that. You kill 400,000 babies each year. You've had 500,000 people being murdered since 1990.
Yeah, man.
Since I was born.
You were born in 1990, right?
Yeah, 20th of March. Same day as Baron Trump.
Baron.
Yes.
Which one's Baron again?
The youngest son. The one that's in school right now at
The
NYU.
tallest one?
Yeah, the giant. Wow. We share a birthday.
What happened to you? You look like you've
Well,
had a hard life.
I'm taller than my dad, though. You know what I mean? I had better early childhood nutrition,
Yeah.
fortunately. You know.
You're not.
I was about to ask about xenophobia, but maybe I shouldn't.
No, us.
No, go ahead.
Okay. How's the situation now?
What do you mean?
It flares up. And
No. Guys, we need to be fair. South Africans are poor. South Africans are struggling. Africans are poor. Africans are struggling. Now, South Africa is not the rich aunt. The whites are rich, but the blacks are not. They haven't had any opportunity. And therefore, we cannot compete for income with our neighbors. Unfortunately, we're not at that table. You know, on Zambian Airlines, right? They don't even give you the flight warning. Yeah, that's what I realized actually about my flight. They didn't say assist yourself. Make sure that your mask is secured
Before you help the next-
assist.
Yeah.
They didn't say that on the way here. I wonder, have they been banned from saying that or something? Because that's the argument that I was going to use. I was like, why haven't I heard that argument in a while? And I just flew. Weird. I hope they say something about that when we fly back. But either way, South Africa needs to get its mask on first and secure its mask before it can help the rest of Africa. We collect more taxes as South Africans than the rest of the next top 5 economies below us. Do you understand? That means we collect more taxes than Algeria, Tunisia, Nigeria, Morocco, and Egypt combined as South Africans. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are investing in our country and in those services. We pay the highest premium for government services. Unfortunately, if you are Zambian, you need to get your government to give you your services. You're not going to get them from South Africa. If you're Zimbabwean, you are Malawian, you are from Botswana, you are from Mozambique, what other countries? You are from Ethiopia, you're from Eritrea, you are from Uganda, you're from Burundi, you're going to go Rwanda, you are from Chad, you're from Democratic Republic of Congo, you're from Congo, Brazzaville, you're from Benin, you're from Equatorial Guinea, you're from Guinea-Bissau, you're from Comoros, you're from Seychelles, you're from Mauritius. You understand what I'm saying?
Senegal?
You're from Western Sahara. Free Western Sahara.
Chad? Niger?
Senegal, if you're from Dakar, if you're from the island of Gori.
Why are you egging him on?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm enjoying this.
You're from Mauritania.
forgot Chad.
You're from Mali, Bamako, where my feet have touched the soil.
Why do we have an accent now?
Italian now.
Why do we have an Italian accent? But why then do you call the white guy who then comes to South Africa an investor?
Because he came with a gun to our head. Did you come with a gun to our head? Then you won't have that privilege. Come with guns to our heads, take over our country by force, and we'll treat you like the whites. I mean, come on.
Touche.
And also, don't behave like you don't worship the ground whites walk on everywhere else in Africa. In fact, whites get treated better elsewhere outside of South Africa. In South Africa, the white, yes, might be dominant, but he's still going to get told to fuck you.
We want.
You understand what I'm saying?
The land back.
And he's being told, we are going to shoot the Boer. We're going to kill the Boer.
And you've said that a couple of times.
I mean, I can say it. I'm not a leader of a political party.
And that's the basis that those 41 refugees went to...
Let them fuck off.
Was it 41?
Or whatever, 49.
49?
Yes. The basis that they went there was so that Trump can say to his base that he's acquiescing to white supremacist.
I saw a couple of cargos that I recognized there.
I mean...
Those were not farmers.
Of course.
There was one or two cargos.
Why would you,
from
as a
Menlyn
farmer,
Mall
do you
even?
know how lucrative the farming is?
Recognize them.
Why would you leave your farms?
That's why I'm like, this guy's a car guy from Menlyn.
To go work for Bill Gates. He's the one that owns the farmland in America. So, I mean...
I'm not going to scream over that one.
You understand what I'm saying?
But why is this guy laughing so hard?
You understand what I'm saying?
How did you recognize those guys?
They look like car guards. No. That's the thing. Because he's been to the Val, that's why. In the Val, there's white car guards. Lots of them. The
Tell
poor
this
whites.
guy.
The most pathetic of all pathetic people.
That's the way he says
You
it.
had, you had colonialism, you had apartheid,
There's one that I
and you're
recognize
still
like,
a loser. Just imagine that.
Stefan, come now.
Imagine.
Yeah.
And no, Stefan was physically challenged, but he was a very smart boy in primary school. Stefan Olivier. That's a guy I went to school with. Stefan Olivier.
Man, I swear to God, this episode will get us in trouble.
No, it won't. We didn't say anything that's banned in Zimbabwe.
Gob.
Should this
No,
episode-
banned in Zambia. Sorry, my bad. That's what's going to get us in trouble. I mixed up
episode
the
even
two
go?
countries. But you guys are Rhodesians. You guys were once one. But now you're the bigger one. You guys overtook them. You overtook Zimbabwe. I was married to a Zimbabwean, so I can say this. You guys overtook Zimbabwe.
What
Their
happened?
population's at 13 million.
What happened?
Hyperinflation happened.
No, I mean with your wife.
That's exactly what happened. Hyperinflation happened. The Zim dollar just crashed, and I realized that, damn it, I'm not going to get anything out of this.
How long were you married?
This is what happens, right? Hyperinflation happened. You guys still have dignity as Zambian men. Zimbabwean men have zero dignity whatsoever. That's why Zambians that do business in Zimbabwe, you know what I mean? Like the guys that take the Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola is headquartered here, right? The Zimbabwean Coca-Cola is headquartered here, right? Even though the guy who's the CEO is Zimbabwean, but his office is in Zambia. Anyway, I don't know how I know all these things, guys. We want to know about me while I'm dreaming, okay? Please don't mind me. But anyway, Zambian men, they go and they turn Zimbabwean girls into South African girls when they're
How
there.
so?
I mean, have you seen what everybody does to South African girls? They pass them around, you know what I mean? They change them around or whatever the case may be. South African girls are the easiest girls in the world. Like the easiest girls in the world. Like when I left South Africa, I realized that you actually have to work hard to get a woman to sleep with you.
Guys, I said...
I'm just saying, the South African girls are the easiest. You're shutting up because you want to benefit from it. That's why. You want to benefit from it. You don't want to offend them. Yeah, we saw you on your Zambian podcast. Yeah. Yeah, aren't you that boy Zed? Yes. You understand? So what happens is that the price of bread increased to the extent that her father went to go buy bread with the same amount of money he bought bread the day before, and he could not buy bread. Therefore, their family had to move from him being one of the top teachers in Zimbabwe, being an exchange teacher, an English teacher as well, teaching people the language that they need to now get into higher places in life and all that stuff to help them progress. He taught at a girls' high, I think, which is one of the top private schools in Zimbabwe.
It's government.
Top government schools then. It's one of the top ones. It's one of the premier government schools, right? Okay. He taught in Hawaii as an exchange teacher as well. And then everything fell apart with the hyperinflation in 2008, and he decided to immigrate with his family to New Zealand. And the only job he could get there was as a farm laborer. And that episode, he took his family, there were farm laborers' kids, go to farm laborers' kids' schools and all that type of stuff. His firstborn daughter then moves to South Africa, but she still got daddy issues. I mean, she graduated the other day. Her dad was not there to take a picture with her. Do you understand what I'm saying? If she was still married, her husband would have booked a flight for her father to fly from New Zealand to be there for his daughter's graduation, at least once. You understand? Her parents went there on the day that we got married. We didn't do any of the family things. I flew to Bulawayo to go see her family home. She was too ashamed.
Really?
She was too ashamed of the condition of the home that she even refused for me to come there. I had to stay at the Holiday Inn in Bulawayo.
She's in the village?
You understand? Yeah.
They're hot.
Huh?
They're hot. The village chicks are hot.
Well, they got nice faces, but the South African body is missing.
Of course, man.
Yeah. The South African body. The thing is this, about a woman with a hot body, right? Is that even when you're tired, right? And she wakes up and she goes to take a shower, you just look at that and you're like, oh, hell no. You know what? I need to just knock one. Like, the thing is that I try to get myself off girls with fat asses and everything else. But a girl with a fat ass will make your dick hard each and every single time. Every single time. You'll never fail. If you're suffering from erectile dysfunction, maybe her ass is too flat. That's actually the problem. It's not you. Forget men's clinic. You just need to get some big nyash. You understand?
Session, we apologize.
And that's also the difference between Zambian and Zimbabwean girls. Zambian girls have got nyash. Compared to Zimbabwean girls. Zimbabwean girls are flatter.
When you live in a city, you don't see it, but foreigners will come and tell you things.
Like, I'm serious. No, you're comparing against South African. I know, it's unfair. I'm sorry. South African girls is crazy. I know, I felt the same when I was in New York. I was in New York, dog. Every time I turned my head, I was disappointed. 100% of the time. Every single time. And that's the worst thing, is that it becomes a South African habit. South African habit is that you look at a girl, you see your pretty face, and now you want to see the backside when she walks past, right? Like,
right.
You just wait. Every single time in America when I was walking, then I could understand why they've got BBLs. You understand?
Tell me something.
So
you're extremely famous in SA. How do you handle the chicks that come into your DM, throw themselves at you?
Oh, yeah, I learned the hard way.
What was the hard way?
I caught a case because I answered a DM. You know what I mean?
The one who accused you of rape?
Yeah. So, I just thought, like, it's so funny. I thought, like, clearly she just wanted to hook up and whatever.
And
then when she realized that this nigga is going to hit and run, she was like, nah, I'm going to let everybody know that you smashed.
Wait, what happened? Tell us about that.
She just wanted to let everybody know that I smashed.
So where did the rape come in?
That's the only way to let everybody know. It didn't happen, so you understand? So now it's like, damn it, I'm going to drag this nigga through this thing.
Were you acquitted?
Obviously, it was dismissed. It was not acquitted, it was dismissed.
Did you sue?
I mean, what's the point of suing? I just withdrew the case. Like, I want to get over and done with. Like, now I must go to court and now drag this woman. I must see her in court and every single day after. No, I need to.
Because that's similar to what happened with Tolesmo.
Yeah.
No, with Tolesmo, he went to court and went to trial for the thing.
Yeah.
Mine was dismissed from prosecution stage already.
Oh,
I did not go.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, you know what I mean? I already paid almost 200K in lawyer fees that I owe my sister. I mean, I need to pay my sister back that money. You know what I mean? It was either that or I don't eat and I pay my lawyers. So I was like, no, sister, pay my lawyers. Let me eat and be able to live. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, dude, it's such a drag. It's such a dramatic thing. You know what I mean? It's traumatized because the whole entire thing happens while my nephew is living with me. My nephew was in the house. So now it's like a big whole entire thing. And
so you don't answer DMs anymore?
No, I don't. Only
goes
business
down in the DM.
Because I thought this person is someone from TV, so maybe, okay, I could give her the benefit of the doubt. Usually if it's just a random girl, nah. Not at all. You know what I mean? Like,
So you want to hook up with somebody who's got something to lose like you.
I've got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a lot to lose
Yeah.
already. So I don't want someone who doesn't understand what it took to get me here. I don't want someone who doesn't respect the level of work that I've done to get myself to this point and then jeopardizes it through their actions. I already married someone who was at that point because they got to where they are because of pretty privilege. It's like, hey, there's a new thing. There's this girl, Zahara. She plays the guitar. She sings in Xhosa. Okay, cool. Let's find another one that's like her. Oh, there's this girl from Zim. She speaks perfectly Xhosa and she also plays the guitar. She's prettier than Zahara. Let's throw her in that slot. And then
What
she can
girl's
use her
that?
pretty privilege.
What girl's that?
My then wife.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how she got lucky. That's how she got her big break. Because it was the singer-songwriter guitarist wave. So everybody who was part of that wave, it's like when Amapiano is blowing up, now you've got this guy, you got Lima Crazy, you got Scots Mapuma, you got, you know what I mean? Everybody's hopping onto the train. So she hopped onto the train in that buzz and
Shame,
in that
poor
whole entire
Scots.
thing. So for me, the way in which I worked myself up in the industry is I wasn't the famous guy. I was the guy who was finding guys, who was honing their talent and making sure that the business behind it was sound so that their brands could now be lucrative and develop them over time and time. And she saw me as someone who could assist her with that because I had the specific skills, I had the track record and everything else. You know, I mean, I made 2 albums with her. One we released, that's her first Sama, her first number ones, her second number 1 single, her only number ones, 1 and 2, you know. Her only Sama, you know what I mean? Again, I'm just saying, all of those things.
Speaking of music,
Those are things that I did for her. You understand? Her most popular music video that she released is a music video where I'm like the cameo star of the show. It's one of my clips on a vacation that I took her on, where I paid for the vacation. I paid for the studio time. I paid for everything. So for me, it was like this girl was smart enough, right, to use her survival instincts that she's used to survive in a foreign country, knowing that her father is also in another foreign country, far from her neighboring country where only her grandmother remains. You
Okay,
know?
so Nota.
Her not having a father was very detrimental to her because it now made her disrespect the role of a man, right, as a partner. So she only thought of a man as someone she needs to milk and extract from because she doesn't have a solid relationship with her father. Her father is someone that she needed to extract things from at the point where he was able to provide.
Right.
And once he was not able to provide, then she lost all respect for him. And the same way her mother also lost respect for him. And when we were having whatever fight we were having or argument, there was no intervention. I spoke to her mother over the phone and her mother's like, why don't you just guys break up? So I was like, yo, this satanic woman. Like, she destroys the image of her husband in front of her children on group calls. Like they'd have a video call or voice call. They're calling New Zealand. Their parents are in the same city or whatever. They even separated for like 6 months at a time where the one lived in the other part. And then her mother realized that I'm in my 60s or 50s, late 50s. How the fuck am I going to find a guy that's going to take care of me or whatever? Like, why the hell would I divorce my husband in my 50s? Like,
Yeah.
what type of stupid things? So her mother could not even help her and say, listen, whatever happened to me and your father, don't let that affect your future. So you've got a career, you've got a husband who's working in the music industry, you know, who's taking people and making them global stars, which is something that you want. And you want to sabotage that person's life. You want to make him look like a person who's undesirable. Because when a woman divorces you, what she's basically saying to society is, no, this man is no good. So you want me to be cast aside. Dog, I got bitches for days. That's the thing. The day she was leaving, I was like, yo, let me scroll through my
IG.
hidden messages. My hiddens. The story, you know, the ones that you don't...
The requests.
The ones that I'm
The
like, can you
requests.
see all these bitches? Can you see? Like, do you want me to show you the nudes? Like, do you want me to go there? Do you want me to go there? I could find a bitch right now. I could find a girl at Spa right now. This is my place. This will be a home for her. She'll be there cooking 7 days a week. I don't need to put a fucking studio in the other room. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that you completely lose it. You get this inflated view of yourself, and then everything like you know, I sent her a message. I wanted to be the first person to send a happy birthday wish. You know? She replied with praying hands, which is a good sign because she never actually responds to my messages or whatever.
It's like,
so we haven't
thank you,
spoken in
gratitude.
terms. No, she said praying hands. Clap hands, sorry. high five. Because that's actually what it is. It's two people giving each other a high five.
I disagree with that, though.
So
Those look like praying hands.
They are praying hands. Because there are two people that I think the
Are you
colors
seeing
of the
them?
cuffs would be different.
no, don't read the top message because that's me simping.
Yeah.
Shit.
I miss you, baby.
No. I never said that. What did they read the message, bro?
All right, cool. So it says, happy birthday and congratulations on your graduation. Just like that, a whole youth becomes a memory in the blind of an eye.
In the blink of an eye.
We said blind here, though.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
Typo.
Good night, Guguletu.
There you go.
Google it.
Yeah. Now that's me saying.
She never responds to any of your messages, though.
Didn't you see the praying hands? That's the response. That's the reaction. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving you an admission that that's the praying hands. The
He
response.
says it's a positive sign. She finally responded.
Yeah, it's a positive sign. She finally responded. I said, she hasn't been responding for I don't know how long.
And do you know what those praying hands are? You know when you click on that actual message
Yeah.
and then you react to that message?
Not the response.
Not the response.
reaction.
A reaction to the message.
Do you understand? So
An
now,
achievement.
yeah. Well, I mean, you guys can laugh at that, but number one, it was her birthday.
Yeah.
Number two, she was releasing a single that day. Number three, she had a radio interview the week before. No one gave a fuck.
Wait, who's Google? Wait,
That's her name.
That's your ex-wife.
That's the thing, is that no one knows
Wait,
her
is that your
real
ex-wife?
name. Yes, exactly.
But
And
why is she still-
the whole entire point of her releasing that song was because I told her that, you need to stop this thing of faking this thing of who your image is. You're a Zimbabwean Ndebele girl. Speak your language.
Why does she have your last name?
Introduce. She doesn't.
That's how she's saved on your phone.
I mean, would I change how I saved someone's name?
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, that's the way it was saved.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's fine.
I'm not updating that. Like, know who you are. Like, you need to understand that the level of cognitive dissonance that someone now doesn't, like, is not who they are. You come out there and you now, this celebrity image, you've got your own name. So your stage name is your mother's name, which is a weird thing because your mother uses that name.
What's the stage name?
You don't know her stage name? Berita. That's her mother's name.
Right.
You understand? That's why I hate saying that name because it reminds me of the actual owner of the name, the evil owner of the name, the satanic woman. You know what I mean? So she must be satanic. The only way you can curse your husband in front of your kids is if you're satanic. No woman will destroy the image of the seed. Come on. You can't destroy the image of the seed. You can't destroy the image of the father of the children. You want the children to hate themselves. Because that's what you're saying if you're telling them that they must hate their father. They must hate themselves. That's who made them. You know what I mean? So the loss, right, in self-image to give up yourself to be a celebrity is the lowest thing possible. It's the lowest thing possible. You know, while we're still married, I was imploring her to bring her sister who was suffering from chronic mental illness. You know what I mean? Like a serious chronic mental illness. Come to South Africa because there's no mental hospitals in Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, there isn't. There isn't even maternity wards. The child mortality rate in Zimbabwe is insane. Not just the child mortality, the mothers that are dying during childbirth are also insane. It's insane that women are risking their lives to give birth to children. It's insane that still happens. That's 1800 stuff, 19th century Africa, not now. You know what I mean? The 21st century, 2 centuries later, that shouldn't be happening. But it's happening in Zimbabwe. So your own sister, the one who you left the breast for, that's how we say it in my language. Vele. You know, vele is to leave the breast for them. It's just like my little brother. I left the breast for him. The one who you left the breast for, you're leaving for dead. That's your own flesh and blood. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you can leave your own flesh and blood for dead, which means you can leave me for dead, which means that if the police can come here, beat me up in front of you, you'll just drive my car, go and continue with your day. I'll have to get myself out of jail, which is exactly what happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for everybody else thinks that it's a loss. For me, it's not a loss, bro. It's like, bro, I was going to sleep each and every single night next to a snake that was waiting to devour me.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
We've been running for 2 hours, bruh. Yeah. Believe it or not.
Yeah, but we can run for night. We can run forever.
You noticed, even on our Facebook page, people did say this episode is not going to be less than 2 hours.
Yeah. We
had
absolutely need part 2 when we come to SA. Because there's a lot that we left on the table. I was going to ask, you
must come and
mentioned
shoot it at Mzake's kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You mentioned that South Africans. You mentioned that South Africans are not listening to Afrobeats or any of that
Anymore.
Why?
Because we used to have like an Afrobeats hour at the club. Now it's like Afrobeats vibe a bit, couple songs, and then back to piano, then 3-step, then hip hop. You know what I mean? So we've got so many genres popping. It's because of the fall of Amapiano. Amapiano dominated everything, right? And it took over everything. Then everything was Amapiano, right? Then people were like, no, we can't listen to Amapiano all day, right? Then people were like, actually, we can't just listen to one genre, right? I mean, we've got a whole lot more music. Now, a whole lot more music is taking up that space. There's your genres like your Lekompo from Limpopo, which is now also popping up in the club. There's a set of Lekompo. There's enough Lekompo music. First, Lekompo music or whatever Limpopo music was one big artist at a time. It was Makazi at the time. It was Shoma Jose at the time. It was Buju Muju in that back era.
Shoma Jose
he was
from
big
Limpopo?
Yes. Limpopo Champions League.
Oh, okay.
That's her album.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, it's Julius Malema.
I mean, so is my dad. So, I mean, come on. All of those Limpopo artists had their moment. But now Limpopo is having a moment where there's lots of Limpopo artists. There's enough artists producing music for DJs to start playing a genre from Limpopo. So now there's so many local genres that are competing for the space. I mean, Mascandi is the fastest growing genre on Spotify. That's also part of my work in the industry. Okay. You understand? Yes, because when I was busy signing up labels and digitizing, I bought a Viano for the purpose of driving through the heartland of KZN to teach the children of the label owners that do this Mascandi how to upload their music and how to digitize their music. Not to sign them up. No. I did it to teach them. If they wanted to sign with the company that I was pushing at the time, then that was an option. But I never did that like deliberately. I used to tell them that, any of these things you can use yourself. If you guys don't have a sales history digitally, I can't give you money. I don't want to sign you unless I'm giving you money. Because I want to make sure that I give you money when you sign on so that the company is invested in making you a success so that they can make a return on you. But if I sign you and you're just signing the contract for free and you don't get an advance or anything else, what's the reason why I should push this anyway? Because I didn't even spend any money. If it works, it doesn't work. I don't lose anything. You know what it means? A risk-free business. So I did part of that groundwork. It's yielding results today. You understand? Because more and more music, I told Apple Music to create a different Mascandi section because I knew that I was bringing in a new pipeline of Mascandi music. Like, a whole lot of Mascandi music is going to start being uploaded now. So you guys need to create its own.
Mascandi, is it with a Q or a K?
M-A-S.
M-A-S?
Yeah, you spell it like you say Mass Country. AKA's album.
That's AKA's album, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's where he saw where it was going.
Yeah.
As in we were going back to our traditional genres, our traditional roots. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now that's one of the fastest growing genres in the country. You understand? So the biggest group in Mascandi is Sri Nomtekala. I put them on a song with Kid X. That's one of the biggest songs that they have. That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's got over 5 million views or something shit like that. You know what I mean? Other than the other songs that I've written that have got 20 million views, 25 million views on YouTube, I was so shocked because I don't actually watch the videos on YouTube because they're actually my videos, so I've watched them, you know what I mean? And now I'm now watching it and later I'm like, hey, this has got 20 million views, that's my work. Oh my God. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Are you getting the royalties in that as well?
Yeah, some of them.
Okay, so I'm going to give you...
Some of them, yes. There's some artists that's stolen my royalties, but
I'm going to read out a couple of names to you.
Yeah.
Tell me the first word that comes to mind.
Yeah.
When you hear these people. Cassper first.
Fraud.
Black coffee.
Lord.
AKA.
Tragedy.
KO.
Scorpion.
Mikhali.
You know the story of the scorpion and the frog?
Tell me.
No. I won't.
Okay, I'll check it out.
The frog helped the scorpion across the river.
All right, I heard it. Yeah. Mikhali.
Ho.
Wow.
I mean, it's the first one that came to mind. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me try again.
It's all right. We keep going. Show my Josie.
Bro.
Broke or bro?
Bro.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like my bro.
Pori. Maporisa.
Damn, nothing comes to mind.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but okay.
I don't have a word that comes to mind.
We move. Berita.
Satan.
Uncle Waffles.
Swaziland.
Your Maps.
Yeah?
Your Maps.
Your Maps. Who's that?
I did that on purpose.
No. Listen, catch him every weekend from 6 p.m. out here if you're on the airways in Zambia, but it's also on DSTV Audio Bouquet. What's the channel? What's the channel? The Audio Bouquet. I don't know. Man. Hold on, come on.
Nota, you are like one of the...
Which one?
No, I said nothing comes to mind or something. What did I say?
No, I didn't ask about Kwesta.
Okay.
That was
yes.
Pori.
Yes, I don't know what comes to mind with Pori. I did nothing. I just drew a blank.
In Kwesta?
I mean, nothing as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing that I'm willing to say on record. Yeah. Are you guys are good now? What? Is he breathing?
Nota, this year you're one of the smartest people I've met.
Yeah. This year.
I think in a while, in a long time.
You don't have Chinese friends?
No. No, I don't. I'll be honest, I don't have any Chinese friends.
Yeah.
But then you have said, is that Shoma Josie, who you said is the smartest person you've ever met? Smarter than you?
As an artist, yeah.
As an artist?
Well, the smartest artist that I've ever met. Like as
Shoma Josie?
Yeah, I think she's just too intelligent to be an artist, though, unfortunately. So, I think that she'll find more challenging vocations. I think that being a rapper or whatever underserves her talents. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I've got high hopes for whatever she does in future. But, I hope that it's more family orientated. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of young women skip the phase. How old is Maya now? She's in 1993.
Which Maya? My case of the ex?
Maya Shoma Josie.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Huh?
That says sorry. I confused her with Maya case of the ex.
Okay, I don't know which Maya that could
You
be.
don't know the other Maya from America?
Maya Angelou?
MYA?
Yeah.
Oh, that's MIA. No, she's named after Maya Angelou. MAYA. So, yeah. So, I hope that, maybe, hopefully, she starts a family soon or something like that. You know what I mean? And lives a normal life, and finds other things, other passions, philanthropy, and all these things. I think that she's done her part, and she will never get the due for the work that she's done to illuminate my ancestral home province, my father's home province. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's broken many barriers because, let me tell you something. If Java wins a BET, he's Zulu. Zulus dominate in terms of South African culture because of their numbers as well. So it's not as big as someone who comes from one of the minority cultures going out there and getting to an international level. And what that says is that there's so much talent in South Africa that you can even find it in the most unlikely places. So that's why you should look for the talent in South Africa. And because of South Africa's proximity to all its neighbors, because of how many of its neighbors' people live in the country as well, anything good that happens to South Africa then has an effect of raising all the boats with the South African tide rising. You know what I mean? And, I don't know why I spoke so long about Shoma Josie, but obviously she has always been one of my favorite talents that I encountered. And I think of her as bro because I'm her big bro.
My last question, because we'll need to wrap up. Apparently, and I got this from Kalenga, and he says that he got that from you.
What?
Relax, it's nothing bad.
Okay.
That you told Cassper to sign Nasty C.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's a clip on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't just tell him in isolation. It wasn't just me. I mean, Azinga was there. We were at Anati's house. We were actually in the kitchen at Anati's house, you know, in Santon. So we were in the kitchen. We were recording. We were recording another song that Anati like wanted like 80,000 rand for the beat. The guys didn't want to pay 80,000 rand, but we ended up paying like Ganja Beats 60,000 rand for their beats. I was like, oh, why are we not paying Anati for this beat? And we ended up losing the song. It's called Pray for the Children. So the original Pray for the Children song was a Kwesta song. It ended up being on Anati's album without
Right.
Yeah.
So what did you see in Nasty?
Well, I'd always seen him coming up. I mean, like, dude, before anyone knew Nasty, like maybe 4 years before anyone ever heard of the song, I took a picture of him sitting next to Kwesta and Kid X on the steps at a show. He was backstage.
Right.
Yeah.
In what was
He was a
Casper's-
young little kid. He was a teenager. I think he was 12 or 13 years old at the time. You need to understand, I've known Nasty since before anybody knew him. You understand? I drove from fucking Nelspruit to Durban. It's a long drive. Rushed to meet him in time. Because I needed to meet him in time because he needed to go to school the next morning. We had a gig, a show in Durban. Our show is that our performance time is at midnight. But now we need to meet the kid before the show. We need to meet him at like 7 p.m. We only arrived at like 8. It was late. You know what I mean? Because the kid needed to go home and to school the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So imagine like all the effort that you've done. And also another thing that people don't understand is that wherever Nasty is now, he's in a comfortable position because I made sure that all the handlers that handle him have to stay on their toes and not exploit him. Because I made sure that I speak about the potential of how he can be exploited and end up with nothing. You understand? Each and every single chance I got. And the reason why I mentioned him so much is because I cared for that little boy that I met when he was still a pipsqueak.
Why didn't Casper sign him?
Because Casper's a
Casper
narcissist. He's
said-
selfish. He's selfish. That's why. He's selfish. Unfortunately. You understand what I'm saying? But it's fine. Because he didn't need to sign him. Because the people that did sign him, right? They made sure that they exploit him in such a way that he doesn't end up becoming a pauper. You understand what I'm saying? They exploit him gangan. They exploit him cool, but you know, at least he got left with something. And you know, and he's still young. What is he? He's a 1998, right? That makes him how
You
old?
said that Cassper said that when you
27.
told him to sign Nasty C, that Cassper said, if I sign that boy, he's going to look better than me at my own record label.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what happened. And that's why he was selfish.
And you
Yo.
told him, and
I'm nice, I'm chilling.
and you told him whether you sign Nasty or not, he's
He's
still going
going
to
to
look
be-
better than you.
yeah, and that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yes, and we said that at Nazi kitchen table, and we all agreed. You know what I mean? It's like, alright, cool, but it was his money to sign. It's like, yo, bro, we all have money, right? But you got more money than me, and I say, bro, you got the most money out of all of us. Do the right thing for the boy. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, it's gonna be too tricky for me. Do you understand? And unfortunately, that is. That's exactly how it materialized. But fortunately for him, you know, the people around him, as well, his brother stayed with him the whole entire time so that he was watching out for all the things that Nota was saying. Oh, they're going to try to exploit your brother like this. People need to understand that sometimes I say things to stop them from happening.
Right.
Yeah.
We gotta wrap this up.
It's been a long one.
This has been
a great one. Long
It's been I didn't expect it to be any less intense.
So where we going? Where's the after party? Are we going to the
After
club?
the show, it's the after party.
You guys want me to sleep and then be at the airport at 5 a.m.? Like, what the hell?
You're flying on a 5.
Nah,
No,
Okay.
his
Yeah,
flight is
I'm
at
flying at
7.
7:25, but you need to be
Oh,
at the airport
but,
2
yeah, 2
hours
hours,
before the
yeah.
flight. Yes,
Exercising that on the
as
website,
recommended by Zambian Airways.
Who do not speak any local language? Who do not give you, what's that, run through? The mask thing?
Dude, when
Yeah.
I was leaving South Africa, they asked me if I'm coming back. Where are you going to in Zambia? Lusaka. That's the fucking flight. Like, you swipe my passport, bitch, and then it'll show you that I've got a return flight. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to ask me these 20,000 fucking questions. You know what I mean? So this woman is asking me questions, and I'm like, why am I getting asked 20,000 questions to go to fucking Zambia? And Ikbeni, the day before, I was stopped by Interpol, and I couldn't even go to Zambia to do the thing that I'm doing. There's so many people that are disappointed that I cannot even go. They don't know how upset I am. They're probably thinking that, oh, this arrogant South Africans and these South Africans, they always miss us.
Right.
They always cancel on us last minute. And dude, I'm a professional. I get to the airport on time, bro. I was at the airport on time. There were other people that also missed their flights that were called me and said, oh, yo, we're late. And I was like, I'm with Interpol. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing I could do. You You know what I mean? It was at that level. So I'm just glad that I finally made it. I'm glad that I got to meet the people that I did meet. We were at Quorum earlier. Is that Quorum?
Yep.
Quorum.
Yes. We had a nice gathering. It curated, I guess, right? Is that the right language? We had a where's the lawyer?
Curated?
No, like, you know, when you
Corated?
yes, for a meeting to corate, it needs to have enough members.
Quorum,
in the
to have make it a quorum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you guys know better English than us. Come on. So,
I wish I could speak half your English, bro.
hey man.
I don't know if this week you're gonna be saying bruv or have any.
You know what I mean? I want to speak pure English now. You know what I mean?
You didn't get my point. I don't know if you want to have any English accent.
No.
This week.
You don't want. So, I mean, like I said, it was very serious that I come here. I got to speak to a lot of people, speak to them about what Zambia could do. You know what I mean? To actually get itself to that level. I spoke to them about also understanding the historic context, and that's why I brought back that whole story of Hugh Masekela and the history. You must remember that that's where the South African music actually started Billboard charting in 1963.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And now people are saying, hey, no, Zambia needs to catch up and we need to also get on the billboards. South Africa was on the billboards in 1963. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
South Africa was winning Grammys in 1964. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hugh Masekela's album debuted at #1 on the Billboard albums chart. The first African artist to ever do it. The only African artist to still, to this day, do it. Since 1968, the year Martin Luther King died, no African artist has been able to hit that #1 spot on the Billboard
And he
albums
still
chart.
had time to run through.
Bitches. And he did it under his own independent label. That's why you need to read Hugh Masekela's book. Yes.
I'm definitely buying a copy of that.
You need to read the book. Yeah. Read Miriam Makeba's book. Find out about why South African music is up there, because it's part of our protest art. It's part of the anti-apartheid movement. And the anti-apartheid movement was one of the biggest global movements within the time when the globe had its highest development curve. You need to remember that there was the oil crisis, right? When Iran stopped giving oil because Israel dropped bombs somewhere in the Middle East. Israel started dropping bombs, then Iran stopped pumping oil, and the oil price went all the way up and shot up, you know what I mean? And that sent ripples through the markets. You know, at that point in time, I think the interest rates in America, the Volcker was put in, Jimmy Carter put in Volcker as the head of the Federal Reserve. You know what I mean? Jimmy Carter, the one-term president. The term.
Trump almost became that.
Yes, but he stopped that. But Biden is now that. So that one-term president, because the economic shock waves that happened in the country were so volatile. You must remember that America had interest rates at over 12%. South Africa also had an interest rate crisis in 1974 as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So at that time, the world needed to figure out how the finances work. By the time they got to the 80s, we're looking up. But in the 80s, that's when we forced America to put sanctions on South Africa. We forced Ronald Reagan, even though he tried to veto Congress to have the sanctions lifted against South Africa. Congress overruled him. That's the fight that was the artists and athletes against apartheid. You understand? 5 A's. That was the fight that brought South Africa to prominence. And because we are on that spotlight, that global spotlight, anything we do will shine and have resonance around the world. Zambia needs to find what's its story. Do you understand? You still haven't made a movie about those guys that died in an airplane. And then the one who missed on the plane. And then he ended up being part of the management and coaching team of the team that won the cup, of the team that should have won the cup when they died on the plane in Gabon. And the reason why the plane went down was why? It was shot down. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, your memory retention needs to be studied. Like, how do you remember all these things?
It was important.
Guy, stop.
Let me not ask
Until next week, guys. Listen, we're gonna have to apologize to Sashin. tomorrow we're putting in a call to say, hey,
There's an
Lalela,
episode coming.
there's an episode coming. All
A few
right.
things might be said that you might not be too happy with.
This episode is gonna trend in SA.
As long as
Brothers.
we stay.
All right, gentlemen, ladies, until next week, please click hitting the subscribe button. Please keep voting for us on the Zamtel social media awards, star 9595 hash as our podcast of the year. And up until next Tuesday at 3.
Have a lovely day.
Deuces.
Hold on.